What's going on, Tamers? Welcome to DigiPod, the digital podcast, the one and only Digimon card game podcast, where you can find your host, Varney, Dan, and the new Mike replacement, Gino, since Mike has decided to go on another workcation. Mike is off working again, so he could not be with us this week, but it's fine. Because Mike doesn't even know what a Digimon is anymore. I think he is, so I haven't watched Last Evolution Kazuna. It's on my list, but you know how they say that when you grow older, you lose that bond with your Digimon and you end up forgetting about him. That's Mike. Mike has grown so old. He has fallen so deeply in love with his girlfriend and soon to be wife that he has just completely forgotten what it means to be a Digi-destined, man. He ain't one of us anymore. Shout out to the loss of a real one.
Coming from a guy who's also slowly leaving Digimon too.
We just had this conversation.
Mr. GA aficionado now, right? Like my man's a top tier Grand Arca player now.
Nah, man's making the videos and he's like, ooh, these views looking kind of good, actually.
Right. My man's a Grand Archive stand now. That's his new love. Digimon has fallen to the wayside once again for another adventure. But you know what, guys? So this is exactly what's going to happen. Don't worry. It's going to happen like it did with One Piece, like what it did with probably like Yu-Gi-Oh! For a split second. This is what's going to happen. He's going to think he finds this new love in a card game, enjoy the game, and then he realized, damn, this is not Digimon. No matter what, no matter the issues with Digimon the card game, no matter what the prizing is or lack of tournaments, the gameplay sometimes, his true love is Digimon. So he'll be back fully again. Don't worry, guys. He's just enjoying his time in Grand Archive.
You know what that sounds like to me? You know when you have that one friend, right? That one friend comes to you and they're like, yo, I'm having problems with my girl and she just abuses me all the time.
Oh, wow.
And I just real quick. It's crazy. Like, I love her so much and I would do anything for her. But man, sometimes with her, it's just so bad. But you know what? I put it aside because I love her, but I feel like I need to do something different. And so you tell that friend, get out of the bad relationship because it's very clearly toxic. And they don't, right? And then they end up just staying in that relationship and they hate themselves and they're miserable.
Okay.
Oh shit, I was about to say something I should have. Whoops.
Okay.
Fuck. I have to watch what I say.
Maybe it's you, man. Maybe you gotta fix yourself.
Editor, I'm gonna ask you to cut this part out. I can decide when I'm not having fun with the game. And I can say, it ain't for me right now. And I can go play something else. With that being said, before I get anybody in the comments like, oh man, I feel Varney because I don't like where the game is going, etc., etc. No. I didn't say all that. I didn't say I didn't like where the game is going. I like where the game is going. I like some of the new stuff we're getting. I just don't have anything I care for right now. Everybody's playing Royal Knights. Woo. It's no longer like this cute little I play Royal Knights deck. It's like, no, everybody plays Royal Knights. Galaxy is awesome. If there's one deck that I am so in love with right now, regardless of what anybody says, that I'm not a day one Galaxy player. That's right. I read that comment. I saw you. I love Galaxy right now. Galaxy is so much fun. And when I say Galaxy, I mean Grace Nova with Apollomon and Dianamon as my only megas. I'm not playing no Galaxy slop. I'm not committing none of that cheating. I'm not bringing Mirage into the deck. I'm not bringing those Digimon. It is Dianamon. It is Apollomon, baby. Grace Nova shenanigans. I love that deck. It plays so fun. It's so much better now than it was. And Diaboromon is the only other deck that I'm having fun with because finally we got support that makes the deck much more cohesive and much more better. Outside of that, y'all already heard the rant on Tyrannomon, which I also do have to say, I just happened to be browsing through some tournament listings and I saw the dino on top and I was like, oh my goodness, somebody made me eat my words. But it turns out that I was right all along and that the Dinomon support is actually trash. Not to reiterate myself, but this Dinomon list is not playing any Dark Tyranno, Metal Tyranno X, or the Agu X. It is just as if this deck had never gotten the support. It is pure red based. So,
listen, we need like a counter that says like videos since last Tyrannomon talk, and we'd still just be at 0 for now.
I love Tyrannomon, man. Anyways, why are we talking about this?
Not a clue.
If you can't tell, I have the attention span of a peanut, and I don't recall how we got into this conversation. Grand Archive is fun, and I've been enjoying Grand Archive. I don't enjoy Digimon prizing, and it's not rewarding for me to play competitively. Therefore, I will not play it competitively. But I have tons of fun playing with Dan and Gina. As a matter of fact, I was kicking Dan's ass on camera just the other day. He can tell you that same thing.
What did Diaboromon do to you?
What did I do to you?
I won 2-1.
Oh, he won 2-1, but we played 2 matches.
Don't recall the last one.
The counter for this currently says 1-1 for Dan and Varney. Okay. All right.
Oh, those are counts? I thought we were like counting like tournament matches.
You what?
Like,
we can count tournament. We can count tournament matches.
I didn't know what we were counting. I didn't know we were counting everything.
Listen,
okay.
Let me put it this way.
I got no problem counting. I don't
care where. I will meet you on the playground and I will kick your ass Yu-Gi-Oh style on the playground in front of everybody as they see me take your Blue Eyes White Dragon from you, Kaiba style, then I'll rip it up in front of your face. That's what I'm gonna do to you. You can best bet I'll lay the smackdown on him anytime, any place, money in the bank, cash the championship in. He ain't safe. When he goes to sleep, I'm there. When he's in the shower,
hey, where's
I'll stop now.
You gonna talk about that shit? I thought remember how you were like you gonna beat me in basketball 101 and like I think it was like Mario Kart 101. I'm still waiting. You've been ducking me on those.
I'm almost positive I have conceded that I would let you wipe the floor with me at basketball. I'm almost positive I've conceded that. I'll still accept it.
Side note real quick. Speaking of basketball, since it's mentioned it, if you've seen other card game YouTubers like Sam out here playing one-on-ones with other fellow Yugi-tubers, just know how Sam got cooked is how Barney would be, except Barney's taller.
Damn. Yo, all right. So real talk. I'm sorry. This happens like every podcast. And if you guys can't tell, if you're longtime listeners, I know you're in for the ride. If you just so happen to be popping in here expecting a Digimon podcast, this is first and foremost the boys on a podcast. Let me tell you, one time when I was in middle school, we all got together. We were over at one of the boys' house. We were playing some night hoops. It was stick a person at the rim, go try to dunk on them.
Oh, we used to do that all the time. We used to do it all the time when I was younger. We put down the hoop to like 9 foot. We were windmilling on each other.
Let me tell you, I thought I had a jump game. I do not have a jump game. Bro, I went up. I jumped as high as I thought I could. My mans came in and I quite literally, I got teabagged. All right. Nuts were in my face. And I fell on my ass so hard that this is explicit and I'm sorry. I felt like my asshole got split open. That's how hard I fell on my ass.
This clown. I have done that on...
We were like 10, 11 years old, but...
I've done that on official size 10-foot hoop myself.
It was so bad. You can't find it, so don't go looking for it. But at one point, because we were recording everything, And this is, I've always been a video editor. So I put together like a highlight reel for everybody. And of course, I had to put me getting my ass split open on the highlight reel. I did that whole thing where it was like, go, rewind back, go, rewind back, go. And then bam, then you see somebody, those super hot videos where they come up, they're like, oh. Yeah, that's exactly what happened in that video. Funny as shit. You won't find it on the interwebs, but if you do, have fun watching it.
He said you have to go to the dark webs to find this one.
I honestly don't even know where that video is anymore. It might be on like one of my old YouTube channels, and I have no idea what the name of that would be. So if I find it, I'll post it so y'all can see it. But maybe the Discord will see it. And this is the point where I like plug the Discord until you join the Discord, because Discord is where we talk with you. I chat with you guys every day. And we talk random, stupid shit. So yeah, the Discord's a fun place to be. Anyways, locals, guys, hello. That's what we're here for, really. That's why Gino's here, because yeah, they went to locals. But you know what they really did? They said, you know what? Varney may not love Digimon anymore, because that is the story that they're telling everybody. So they said, Varney may not love Digimon anymore, but we are going to MAWA, New Jersey for the Questionable Plays BT22 case tournament. And guess what? Gino got second with none other than the very deck that I told him to play, because even though apparently I don't play this game, I'm still a good motherfucking coach. Put some respect on my name, Daniel. I told you to hit those kinds of shuffles, didn't I? But you didn't, and that's why you didn't do so hot now, did you? But you see my boy Gino, he got second. Let him know, Gino.
You're ridiculous. Actually, when we were testing, I was cooking him up with CS. And I remember the night before, I was like, yo, Varney, beat me with Galaxy again so that I don't play CS tomorrow. And he didn't. I cooked him instead. But I'm like, no, CS is bad. And it is bad.
No. You said, yeah, Dan came in and said, yo, you should really play Royal Knights, because that should be what that should be your litmus test. So that happened. And, Gino... Right. He applied pressure, but I mean, Omegamon's a card.
Right. And there's not much CS can really do about it, realistically. I mean, I guess you got a Kuomon, but that's neither here nor there. You want to start with locals, or you want to start with MAWA?
MAWA, because it was on the Saturday.
All right, let's do MAWA then. So I got second. I was playing DM version 4. By the time this goes up, maybe my deck profile will be on the channel, not sure. But it's the same list that I ran at this event. So everything I say in that video pretty much applies to, my run here. So, quick couple things about version 4, because it's kind of a weird deck. Nobody really plays it. And that's why I love it, partially. The deck's fun to play, first of all. But second of all, I was the only DM player in the whole room. There's 27 of us. And there were 5 rounds of Swiss, and then they always do a top 8 cut. It's DM, really fun. Basically, your game plan is to get to Digitamamon as fast as you can, and then keep applying pressure with lots of body, lots of board swarm. And then you always have Titamon in your hand to ace when you need it, or when you need to just close out the game and get some alliance checks and stuff. Because Digitama gives alliances the inherit. And with all the memory gain, you can get into Titamon for probably 2 with no other boosts or anything. So you can get some surprising plays off on people, and they kind of don't expect all the pressure that you can put out and all the damage you can do and how fast you can do it. I think it's really good into most of the meta decks because Monochromon lets you de-digivolve basically on command. You're playing him out all the time, and just a free de-digivolve 1 is just really fucking strong. Ooh, pardon my language. That's my first. De-digivolve 1 is really strong whenever you want. And Kawagamon gives you a suspend that keeps things suspended whenever you want. The Nanimon plays can be insane if you know how to do them. You can loop your turn back and get multiple Nanimons, so you can end turn on 2-3 Digitamamons if you're crazy with it. It's just a really fun deck to play. One of my favorite in the game right now. I really want to build Chimeramon because I think it has a little more oomph, but it's like, man, I got to take my analog youths out and I don't want to build a whole nother deck. It's like, I have to switch cards around, but whatever. So yeah, I had a really good run. I went X1, so 4-1 in Swiss, and then I made it to the finals in Top Cut. We'll talk about my matchups a little bit and how they went. First round, I played against Puppets, and I won this one 2-1. The Puppets matchup is literally, do I find Monochromon before you find Namakemon? Because if you find Namakemon and get protection to Digivolve, I can't really deal with Kaguya. And Kaguya is going to beat my stuff up. Luckily, I board swarm, so a lot of the time my lowest level is not something that I really care to die. It'll just die, and it is what it is. But game 1, I found Monochromon really quickly. Game 2, I didn't find him at all, so I lost. Meowbootmon does a ton of DP neg, which is like Tidamon's main weakness, because he has Scapegoat, but that doesn't do anything if you're at 0 DP. So I was getting, slapped up by that. And then game 3, same thing. I found Monochromon this time. I didn't really find him in game 2. So we took that one 2-1. Pretty fun, pretty good game. I remember the last turn, he ended up playing Namakemon, but he only had 2 security, so he just gave something reboot blocker. What ended up being a Kaguya stack, and then I just de-digivolved it and hit it with a Kawaka, and I just swung out for game. Deck's super fun. I love it. I'll probably say it like 3 more times before this recap's over. Round 2, I played against Cyber Sleuth, and I don't think Cyber Sleuth is a very good deck yet. Hopefully Hacker's Slumber gives us more CS cards, so we have more things to work with. It's just a little bit bricky, a little bit clunky. It can't do the shenanigans that the Galaxy can do. It's budget Galaxy, basically.
It's fair Galaxy.
It's fair Galaxy, basically.
It is fair.
I don't get to gain 2 memory when I tug. I don't get to search the top 3 and grab 2 pieces whenever I Evo. Like, I don't get to draw additional cards. I get 1 draw by tucking, and I hope it's another level 4, because if not, I'm screwed. Spoiler alert, I played CS for locals on Sunday, and it did not go very well because the deck is not very good. But that being said, I 2'd the CS player with relative ease. He never really got the big Alphamon play, because the combo you want to do is get the Rise Greymon under Alphamon and do 4 checks in 1 turn. And then you don't really have a way to close the game out, unfortunately, after that. It's another problem with CS. If Alphamon gets removed, what do? That's neither here nor there. He had a pretty bad misplay in game 2, where he wasn't really sure how the phases worked exactly. So the turn before the last turn of the game, he had Murray on field, and Murray says, start of your main, bottom deck me to play another CS tamer. So he hatches, he evos his rookie in the back, and he goes, oh, I've missed start of main, right? Because I've already started doing stuff. And I go, yeah, you missed it. He goes, okay, I won't forget for next turn. So he ends on a champion in the back. Next turn comes around, he goes, okay, start a main phase, I'll bottom deck Murray and play out Kyoko. I say, okay. And he goes, now I'll raise. And I go, well, actually, you've already entered the main phase and breeding comes before it. Either way, I don't think it was going to matter, because we looked at the next couple cards of the deck. He was like, I don't think it mattered anyway, because I needed to find a 5, and he was like 4 or 5 draws away from a 5. So he ended up warping into Kyoko into Alphamon for that turn, and I just de-digivolved it, because Digivolve 1 whenever I want is really strong. And finished the game out with that. Round 3 is where I took my loss, played against our boy playing Omnimon. Holy crap. If you high roll with that deck, it's just over, dude. There's nothing you can do.
At least in my deck.
In my deck, especially, because my main forms of removal are Digivolve 1, where when Alter S comes out and it spits out 2 level 6s with no sources underneath them, I can't do anything about that. And my other effect is my other form of removal. Usually I de-digivolve the threat, and then I swing over it with either Raid or Piercing. And if I swing, I get Omnimon aced. And that's exactly what happened. And because Omnimon Ace does a bottom deck first and then a delete, my Scapegoat doesn't really matter. So Game one, it was actually pretty back and forth, but it came down to the point where I had Titamon on the field and I needed to swing, and he aced me, and there was nothing I could really do after he had the Alter S turn. And then game two, it was my only brick of the day. I didn't find a rookie until like 3-4 turns in, and by that point, it's way too late. And there are some tricks you can do with version 4. So if you brick, there's some stuff you could drop Megadramon for 5, but I never found him. You can do like the Nanimon play, but that requires your trash to be set up. All I was drawing was meat, dude. I just kept playing meat. The turn before I found my rookie, I played 3 meats. That's it.
I heard you like meat.
I was just slamming my meat on the table, And, I'm actually, in any changes I would make to the deck, I'm going to drop a meat out because I think 4 is too many. I like to see him early game. Or I should say they're nice to see early game, but I really just want to see Analog Youth. And by late game, I'm honestly just tucking meat as the bottom source to get my effects because I don't need it anymore. So that's my thoughts on meat. Round 4, I played against Digimon, but it was like the Growl Loop version. The only level 6s I saw were Gallantmons that play for cheap. This guy was a super nice guy, very talkative. But by the end of on the last turn, he's got 3 security, and I've got 3 bodies and a body in the back. And he passes turn with a couple swings or whatever. He's got 2 Growl X's on board, and he goes, "Oh, I should have paid attention to the board state. I guess you could just swing out 4 times, huh?" So that's what I did. And when I did it, I made sure to leave myself 2 memory because Jack Raid was in that security. Jack Raid was in there. So
was it?
It sure was. It sure was. It was the next to last check. So I was safe because I played it smart. And then game 2 came down to the wire. I did get it 2-0. And basically he had a play where he really needed his Growl X to die so that he could do Gallantmon shenanigans, play the 13 DP one for free, swing, play the promo for free to pop his Gallant, swing again, the shenanigans. And he could have swung into one of my bodies, but instead he tried to risk it on security to get another chip damage. And my deck is like 90% squishy Digimon. Like I have my 8/5s and 6/6s, and that's it. Everything else is like 4K and lower. So I'm like, there's probably a pretty good chance he lives this. So I'm not going to block, and I let it through. And it was Nanimon, who was 3K. So he wasn't able to do his stuff, and I won from there. Round 5, the final round, was Galacticmon, and oh my god, this has to be Galacticmon's worst matchup. This is miserable for Galacticmon. Anytime he has a Digimon on the board that doesn't say Vemmon, I just de-Digivolve it. And I just did that all game for both games. And then the one game when he did actually have, so he had the Destra that gives him de-Digi protection for a turn, and he went into Galactic. I went into Kawagamon and I stunned him for a turn so he couldn't swing and get cannon off. And then I de-Digivolved him the following turn. So it's just really bad for Galactic. I can't see a world where Galactic wins that matchup. Like, it's just really rough. So that ended Swiss. I was, again, 4-1 going into top 8. And first round of top 8, I played against Galaxy, played against one of our boys. And the first game, he did Galaxy shenanigans. I didn't touch his security a single time. He drew through his whole deck, and he has no deck left. And he has a blue Scramble in the back. And my board is just Titamon Ace. And he ends on Apollomon Ace. He cleared my small bodies with Apollomon Ace. And I look, and I'm like, he's got no cards in deck. And I have Raid. So I raid into Apollomon Ace, kill myself, and then pass turn for game because there's no cards left in your deck. And you can't scramble if I don't have a body on the board. So that was pretty funny. And then game 2 was just an unfortunate brick for him. He didn't see a rookie very quick, and I opened Biomon, so I had raid. So he would slam his 4s, get a search, and then I would just raid over them. And not much he could really do. He was just too slow out of the gates, and I swarmed and popped off pretty quick. Then semifinals, I played against Sakuya, and I pretty much just expected my run to end here because it's Sakuyamon, and Ruin Mode really screws my deck. Like I said before, my deck is basically all squishies. And so neg 5k to my board is devastating, neg 10k even worse. I remember one game I had to play Medieval Gallantmon under a 10k blanket. So just a little 1k Medieval Gallantmon doing his best out there, trying to pop stuff. Game 1 I ended up losing, and then I won games 2 and 3. But game 1 he put me under the neg 10, wiped my board. I played Medieval, but at that point it was too late. And then game 2, he gave me the neg 10. I played Medieval, but he didn't have the protection from Wizard Bomb this time. So I was actually able to do some stuff and fight back and make it back there. And then that game he had trouble finding a 4. So he had to hard slam Talmon Ace and try to go from there. So that kind of bit him. And then I don't know what god was on my side, perhaps Yggdrasil. But game 3, he couldn't find Sakuyamon. He chose not to grab one off a search early, and then they were all at the bottom of his deck. So I remember last turn, I had like 4 bodies on the board, one of them being Medieval, and he raises. He's like, I'm just going to have to top deck here. So he plays the plug-in, Evos into Talmon, plays the plug-in, doesn't find Sakuya. He's got a bunch of memory, right, because it's Sakuya. He slams Renamon, searches. He quick goes Renamon X. I go, wait a second, you played something. And he goes, yeah? I go, Medieval effect. And he goes, oh, yeah. Okay, I forgot. And he shook my hand, and really nice dude. That's kind of like the theme of the day, is that everybody was really nice to me because they're like, this is such a cool deck. How are you playing this and winning?
He's not a sweat.
Right. So it was really fun for people to say that. Then my last round that I lost, but dear viewer, I actually won because I pulled this baby.
He did. He is the true winner.
I was the true winner of that case tournament.
In true card game player fashion, pulling that means that Gino's luck for the next few months might finally take a dash. Maybe he won't be God Hand Gino anymore. Maybe he'll finally turn into Bad Hand Gino like the rest of us.
Well, that's what happened Sunday, let me tell you. It was not working with Cyber Sleuth. Me and Dan just sat across from each other bricking all games. But anyway,
let me add to that real quick. At the O2 side too of things, it was really bad for both.
Yeah, we were both at the bottomest table, which is usually it's him and I playing in the finals. But it's like reverse.
You would never guess who was in the finals.
Oldfield and Rumberger.
Anyways, so last round I played against Royal Knights, and this was my other loss. Again, this is a really rough matchup for DM version 4 because again, there's almost never anything for me to de-digivolve, which is my main form of messing with you. I got game 1 because he wasn't really sure how my deck worked. I remember the last turn, I just needed to do 1 damage, and for game, because I kept playing Kawagamon, and Kawagamon on play, I just kept stunning Omekamon and leaving it on the board and just never killing it, so it never goes under Yggdrasil. You can never do the Omni play with it. And I remember the last turn, he puts an Omnimon blocker on the board, and I swing with Kawagamon and go, Kawagamon effect, tuck, suspend your blocker, swing game. And he goes, oh, that's when attacking too? And I'm like, yeah. So we took that one, and then games 2 and 3, he was playing a yellowish version of the deck. So he was playing the yellow Kari, and he was playing Revelation of Light. He's playing Gladimon, which lets you grab most of your Royal Knights out of security and gives you security knowledge, which is a little bit frustrating. But what's even more frustrating is, remember how I said Ruin Mode is like really bad for my deck? You know what else is really bad for my deck? Revelation of Light, because it does the same fucking thing. There's my second count.
It's okay. Let the salt out.
That was a really frustrating match. Really long, drawn out match. They said, oh, for top 8, we'll do no time limit. You just play until you win. And that was a huge mistake because
brother in Christ, that shit was an hour and a half long.
And it wasn't even the longest match of top 8. It wasn't even the longest match of top 8. It was the one before when it was Galacticmon versus Royal Knights, and they just sat there grinding against each other.
Well, for sure, because if you in either one, you're just like, well, cool. I don't need to like make sure I win within a time limit, so I'm just gonna make the safe play every time. You're never gonna risk anything. Like, not to cut you off, Gino, sorry, but that is the difference between like having a time limit and not having a time limit. I'm sorry to talk about Grand Archive, but they did that for Worlds. There was no time limit in their top 8 for Worlds. And you can see there's a clear shift in mentality from, damn, like I might just need, you're like, 20 minutes left. Screw it. If I don't do this now, I probably tie, and I don't want to tie. I want to win. So I'd rather like at some point you'd rather just lose rather than take the tie, depending on like the circumstances, yada, yada, whatever. They didn't take like long. It wasn't like super long, but also no time limit just means that you can just, what was that? Hour 45 for Royal Knights and Galactic then?
Something like that. Yeah, it was crazy. It was a long time.
Like you can literally just be like, all right, well, I'm the Galactic player, and I know that this is gonna kind of be tough because OmniX and Omeka is a thing. So I'm gonna try to just not die. And then as Royal Knights, obviously you're trying to win fast, but Galactic has redirects. It has multiple layers of protection. If you're not on all force, which most people aren't, you're not stripping source. So you just don't have an edge, and you just end up taking an hour 45 for a whole fucking match. That's why not every game should do it. I'm not criticizing the decision, but it's not for every game to knock off the time limit. Dan and I learned that very well from our forays running TBL when we told people no time limit, and then we ended up with, what was it, Dan? It was SecCon and something else.
I don't remember. It was like that match was easy, an hour 15.
Of course, it ended up being like SecCon and something else. Like it couldn't have been like, oh, like it's Greymon versus, I don't know,
Red Hybrid,
like Hunters or Red Hybrid. Like, no, SecCon versus insert any deck here. So the lessons were learned from us, but yeah, sorry, Gino, go ahead.
No, you're good. That's pretty much the end of my story. I lost games 2 and 3. Game 2, he did the Genku Stanku play. This is the reason why I hate Royal Knights the most, is you play Genku, and then Genku plays Omnimon X for free, even though he has a clause that says this Digimon can't play Omnimon. It doesn't say he can't play Omnimon in name, just not Omnimon. But so he can play the Omnimon X, which is the better one anyway. So you get your on play, you get rush, you get to swing 2 times. It's really dumb. I think that is an unintended interaction, and I hope, I guess we'll talk about it later, but I hope they do something about that. But that's really frustrating. So he got Genku and rushed me down basically. And then game 3 was just super duper grindy. I might have been able to win, but I don't think so. The last turn that he used Omnimon to summon all of his pals from under Iggy, I left myself with 1 card in deck, and I should have left myself with 2 cards in deck because I needed to ace that turn, and I didn't think about the card that I had to draw. I was just like, I'm just going to go super wide. I've lost this anyway, so we're just going to go Nanimon, Digitama, grab turn, Nanimon, Digitama, grab turn, and just make a stupid wide board for no real reason other than because he could have won probably 2 or 3 turns ago and chose not to. So I'm like, if he's going to make me play this out, I'm not giving him the satisfaction of killing me. We're going to deck out. So that's what we did. But yeah, it was a really fun time. I had a good time. Me and the boys went to Chili's after. I got some delicious shrimp fajitas. Our table ordered a total of 26 chicken crispers. I'm sure someone in the kitchen was angry about that, perhaps. But everyone at the table got chicken crispers except for me, and it was pretty funny. But that's the end of my MAWA run. I'll throw it over to Dan. He can talk about his run. I guess he has 2 runs kind of to talk about.
I really don't want to talk about but we'll talk about it. But real quick, before we get there, I just saw that video you sent us, Marty. That was the most unathletic ass dunks I've ever seen in my life. Oh my God. Y'all don't know how to play basketball.
Listen, we were a bunch of Catholic school kids.
Crazy.
We
crazy.
You know what our basketball team, Dan, was? It was CYO, Catholic Youth Organization. We were a bunch of Catholic, non-athletic Catholic kids trying to play basketball.
Yo, you said another one. I gotta send them what that is. See what that is. Oh my God.
It's just that. Remember that? Remember that vlog I was talking about the one time?
You with a real ball? That was like a small.
Oh right, yeah, he did.
Like mini basketball. I was like, come on, that's not even real.
Like I said, we were in someone's backyard. It was nighttime. We're a bunch of Catholic school kids. What are we gonna do, man? What do you expect of us?
Dog, the things we were doing make us look like NBA dunk contest stuff, in comparison. That's how bad it was. Yo, that was crazy.
You know what you got to do after this pod? You got to go listen to it with sound because I put a soundtrack on it.
I need to try to find. It's like old school like flip phone video camera.
Oh man,
I used to be I used to record all our dumb stuff we used to do, and if I could find like the SD card that was in that, I could show you the videos of the things we were doing. But like, if I could find it, I don't know if I can, but it'd be great if I could. Oh my God, I dunked over like the ride-on mowers, the really big ones. I made fun of Blake Griffin and dunked over one of those.
In middle school / high school, I was very into parkour. I definitely have at least a couple videos out there of me climbing walls and jumping over buildings and stuff. I'll have to share that with you guys then after.
This in our high school we had an atrium and it had like 3 different levels. So the first level had to be at least maybe like 6, 12, maybe like 15-ish feet off the ground. So yeah, parkour was like a big thing back then. So I was like, yeah, I can totally jump this.
You totally didn't, did you?
Oh no, I fucking nailed it. I nailed it. I'm not necessarily saying that's why I might have knee problems today, but I totally jumped the banister 15 feet in the air, landed, might have did a roll. I might be my knees a little bit janky, but
One more quick story. We used to play Manhunt in my community.
Oh man.
And if y'all remember like where my house is, right? So it was like my house property plus the clubhouse plus the basketball courts. We were all over, right?
Oh gosh.
And for one time, I don't know why, we had a giant truck with like the firefighter trucks that has the ladder that goes up and the bucket. It wasn't like a firefighter truck, but it was like one of those like construction things. I had no idea why, so I hit up there one time, not realizing how high this thing was, and they were like, "Oh shit, there he is! Go get him!" They climbing. As they climbing, I jumped off of it. And I was like, "Why am I still in the air? Why is this taking way longer than it should be?" I somehow landed. I didn't break my ankle. It was at least like 2 stories high or something like that. I did like the full like how you're supposed to land and you jump somewhere, and then like I did a roll with it, and I just kept booking it while they were on top, and they were like, "What the fuck?" And then I'm just like, I just kept going, and like the next day I was like, "Oh, my ankles hurt after that one." I was younger, so like I was fine, but like still like that was part of the reason why I probably have knee problems too, because that was such a high jump without realizing. Even worse. In the dark.
In the dark, nonetheless. Did you land on grass or concrete?
Grass. Rocky.
Right,
with some rock around though. Like it was like mainly grass, but because of what they were doing, there was like gravel on it. So it was like a mix. Yeah.
That's why we got them old man knees nowadays.
Anyways, my case run was terrible. I went 3-2. Started off good. Played against Magna X. I'm playing Digimon. I already talked about what Digimon does. And when play against Magnamon, I won that 2-0. Game 1, he went armor rush pretty quick, got me down 1 security, and then I raised and went to Diaboromon and then got tokens, and then I was like, all right, any nonsense you're doing stops now. And so that's basically what happened. And then the following turn after that, I won game basically. And then game 2, he went to Magna X. And then I went to Diaboromon. And I put him in a weird catch-22 where essentially after his immunity turn, when it was back to normal, if he were to swing, because I have the rod that lets you redirect, I had a Kurisarima with the on deletion inheritable of make a token with CS Diaboromon with inheritable D-Digivolve. So if he were to swing with that, I go redirect into Kurisari, play token, effect, D-Digivolve Magna X, pop with Diaboromon, and he'll bring him down to his rookie Digimon. And if he doesn't swing, now he stalls out. And then on my following turn, I do the same thing. So I put him in a situation where he had to have the blinding ray or whatever in his hand to be able to proc his own immunity. So he's fine, but he didn't have that. He set up a board with another Magnamon. And then on my turn, I cleared board basically, and then got game the following turn, I think. So I won that 2-0 pretty easily. Round 2, I was on stream against Tsukuyamon. Game 1, I was all right. I wish I would have seen EX6 Diaboromon instead when he was doing his full combo the first time, because if I had that, the moment he goes plays token with Tsukuyamon, I go, all right, I play my token now, and I Digivolve your Tsukuyamon down to a Talmon, and now you're potentially going to have to pass turn to go into another Tsukuyamon. Or you might not even have a Tsukuyamon to go into, and now you maybe have to drop a Renamon to search or a boost to search or something. Who knows what happens at that point. And so I didn't have CS Diaboromon. And as much as I love CS Diaboromon, I'm starting to realize the downsides to it. And that's one of them, not being able to create a token on demand on your opponent's turn, which kind of hurts. CS Diaboromon works well if you're partnered with another Diaboromon stack, or you're ready for ace Diaboromon play, and then you get the pop that way or something. Or if you have the new CS Inframon that all turns when another unidentified is deleted, you play a token, then you combo with that. I didn't have that. So that was never a thing for me to do. So he did his combo, and then he kept going to room mode. And then that kind of hurts because obviously all my tokens are 3K versus neg 5 to the board. But one thing I learned is that when you play a token, even if you're under the neg 5 blanket, the Inframon inheritable still sees the Diaboromon token being played prior to being auto deleted. So you get the Digivolve. So legit, that's what was happening. I would just Digivolve his room mode. He would scramble back, grab his room mode, and then do it again. And then like we just kept rinsing and repeating until we got to a point where he ended up winning just because I didn't have much going on. I didn't see any rookies from that point on after the first stack. And if I did, I think that would have been a totally different game for sure. But I didn't. Game 2, I blitzed him. CS Diaboromon. He had no response. CS Diaboromon, GG basically. And then game 3, it was when the bricketing was happening for me. And I didn't see a single rookie. And he went up the chain to Kuyumon stuff and won. And by the time I did see a rookie, it was legit me being at 0 security with a Volderon with 2 tokens in my face. Great. GG. And then round 3, I played against Purple Hybrid. I once again bricked game 1. Never saw a rookie. Couldn't do anything. I legit went double trainings. I had double errata. I was ready. Like the moment I saw a rookie, I probably just went out, or at least I'm in a point in a competitive standpoint, even being down multiple security, because I had so much advantage on board. Double token errata is like crazy good. Trainings, I'm gonna get to a Diaboromon stack in that one turn. Like it didn't matter. Never saw it, so couldn't do anything. And game 2, I made 1 stack, but it was the most unoptimal stack with no erratas on board, no trainings. I just kept hard evoing. And then I hard evoed to the CSD Warmon, I think it was, and made a token. And then I was like, with one stack of protection, I'm like, hopefully he doesn't delete me, but you're playing purple hybrid, so that's pretty easy to do. And so he did, and then I lost after that. Round 4, I played against Omnimon. I ended up winning that one 2-0. He did Omnimon shenanigans, and then I went, cool, I'll just de-digivolve you. And I de-digivolved him twice to make sure he doesn't get Miraculous to pop off. And that was basically game. Game 2, he didn't see an Omnimon, but he kept going to multiple War Greymon, Metal Garurumons, and then like, I guess you could say faking it because you had Miraculous on board. So like, all right, it's like one of those things, try to test me, see if you think I got it, or like test my gangster type shit, right?
Right.
And I did. I just made sure I de-digivolved everything first to his rookies and then popped them. And then that was basically game. And then round 5, I played against Eaters. And I won that 2-1. Game 1, it was very back and forth. Eaters is very controlly. And then they play a bunch of Death Exmons and Medieval. And Diaborma can make wide boards quite easily. So Dexmon was free quite a bit, or a 2 cost. And it was so free. In game 2, he played 2 Dexmons in 1 turn for free. I was like, that's fantastic. I'm not winning this. And then, if I'm not mistaken, he played Medieval afterwards. It was hilarious. I was like, I was just shaking my head because I was just like, yeah, like, cool. Like, I know this is what the deck does, so like, I'm not even worried about it. I was just laughing in my head about, like, yeah, just ain't nothing I could do about that one. You got it, Chief. And then game 3, game 1, I won. Back and forward. I dealt with Medieval. I dealt with the Death X. I dealt with 2 Death X's in that game. They didn't come simultaneously like the game 2 was. But I was able to deal with him. And I got to the point where I had so many tokens on board. And I had too many attacks for him to redirect a block. And then I had Armageddon on for rush. And then that was game. And then game 2, like I said, he double Dexmon, Medieval. He had everything. And then got me. And then game 3, he was slow at the gates. And I went double Diaboro CS. And that was game, basically. So I ended 3-2. My opponent's win percentage was so trash that I was nowhere near to make the top 8. 7 and 8 place were X2 like me, but their win percentage was like 65%. And mine was like 40% or something like that. I was like, yep, that's not happening. So that's how it was. And then I did a box tournament real quick. And with the new fish, except it's like my style with the Gigaseedramon, with Gigaseedra / Airymon. I think the deck is so strong, honestly. Being able to do like 2 checks, unsuspend 2 checks, and then you go to Airymon, unsuspend, spit out 3 bodies, swing, unsuspend, swing again. Like you do 7 checks with no problem. Honestly, that's how strong it is in my opinion. I still got like ratio things I need to figure out with that, but I'm liking the way it is so far. So I played against Purple Hybrid again. I won that one 2-1 because it's a pretty good matchup against it because you have things that stuns their tamers. So then they can't suspend, which means they're going to be behind. You're bottom decking versus deleting. So their egg inheritables don't activate because you're just bottom decking their Ukos or whatever. And that's great for you. Won game 1, lost game 2, and then won game 3. Ryugu was clutch in that matchup. And then I ran to Omnimon again. This time he didn't break. Game 1, he got me. I was like, all right, cool. Game 2, he was slow at the gates. And in 1 turn, I do 4 checks because I was trying OTK and I couldn't. And in those 4 checks, I hit double Mirai, Nokia, and Tiamat. And I told the man, you got game now because I just played the game for you. And he was like, no, I'm good. I gotta see the pieces. I was like, bro, you just drew 4 cards. You're gonna search, like you're gonna do everything you need to see Omnimon or whatever. Like you got game. Like let's not play it out. Played it out. He went into Omnimon, and there was game. Like legit, like what else are you gonna do when you just gave him all those resources? And I ended up losing after that because obviously, and I didn't have a response to it, so it was GG's at that point. We're getting to, I think we're getting to, it's good and bad. I guess we're getting to a point in the game. Certain decks you just don't want to check them unless you can OTK them, and Omnimon is to the point. Omnimon is to a point where you don't care what their security is because it's not going to be doing anything bad to you, but you don't want it to be on their board and give them the next turn. You know what I'm saying? Because they run a lot of tamers and a lot of stuff like that. So it's like, if you don't OTK, you might lose now because you just gave them the Nokia they needed.
Let me interject real quick. That is such a big, I'm not even going to say it's necessarily like a problem. It's just kind of the way that the game is meant to be. But it is a very big thing. Like Galaxy, for example, if we look at before getting the new Dianamon and stuff, I would literally have times against Galaxy where I'm like, I know I need to swing, but I'll be damned if I give you a Ko and Sayo when you don't already have one out of security. Because I know once I give you that first Ko and Sayo, it's kind of go over. And Galaxy is a big offender of that. Like, I know if I see a Ko and Sayo come out of my security, I'm like, fantastic. My next turn just got so much easier for no reason. And, I like that aspect of the game because it's a testament to how strong tamers have become. We had a period of time in the game where you weren't really playing tamer decks. I mean, even Growl X right now, strong deck, doesn't play tamers. If they do play tamers, are they playing like Analog Youth? I guess.
But their thing with Growl X is that they're running a crap ton of boosts and trainings, and you just give them the free resource in that way too.
Exactly. Right. So on the flip side of it, tamers have gotten strong, but now, Scramble boost training to give your opponent any of those out of security is just like, God damn, I probably lose next turn, depending on the deck that I'm playing against. Like Sakuya, definitely a big perpetrator of that. So it is really tough. And obviously the fix, we have tamer destruction in the game, so it's not a big problem unless you're a deck that doesn't play tamer destruction, like Dan playing Fish, because you don't even do any of the Yao or like any of the Sangomon specific cards. They don't stun tamers, right? It's only Digimon, if so much.
No, Ryugu stuns. They can't suspend their tamer.
They can't suspend
like Nokia,
tamers.
it doesn't matter. Nokia plays out. It just states on play, start a main, play Agu or Gabu if you have one or less Digimon. Okay. And then everything is plus 1k. So what are you stunning in that situation? You know what I'm saying?
Right, yeah, and that makes sense.
Mirai doesn't suspend either. You on play, trash one, draw two, start your main phase. You bomb deck the card to play something else. So when it comes to Omnimon, doesn't matter. When it comes to like Purple Hybrid, it does matter, right? Because then they can't hybrid and swing. Right. But yeah, no.
It's definitely deck dependent. And like it is a thing about in some matchups, it really isn't worth swinging unless your opponent, like if your opponent raises and then you raise to respond, you're probably in a better spot. But if they have something in raising, or even hitting the Mirai or the Mirai and the Nokia, because you can establish an Omni with Nokia and Mirai, can't you?
You just need Nokia and that's it. You don't even need Mirai. Mirai was just them getting more draws.
Gotcha. So because you play one rookie out off of Nokia, and then you can play the other rookie, then you can warp one warps the other, and then you can go Omni, right?
Correct, yeah.
So it's Davis and Ken in Archetype.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
Which is...
It's crazy that it's start of main on play, because combined with Mirai is just so insane. So much value. Yeah.
Yes.
That is crazy good. It is tough for some decks.
So the thing is, if you go first, right? You go like best case scenario, obviously, right? You evo a rookie in the back, you play Mirai for 3. Cool. You pass turn, your turn halves now. You raise your rookie. Let's say you raise an Agu. Bomb deck Mirai, play Nokia effect, play Gabu or Agu, whatever else I just said. And now Evo 1 to War Gray, Evo the other to Metal Guru, you DNA to Omni, and now your Omni turn 2, whatever that is, and swing a spend swing.
Yeah.
You're doing 3 checks basically right there, and then if you pass turn, if you're passing turn, then you're only doing the 1 swing and then the trash and the unsuspend. But if you're not passing turn, and if you're on some Alter S, and if you're God handing it, you just go swing, unsuspend, swing, break apart, go back to War Gray and Metal Guru DNA again, swing, unsuspend, swing, game.
Yeah, that is today's game.
Yeah, like I love playing Omnimon previously. I played a crap ton of it. Y'all know I played a lot of it back when PT17
when it was bad.
Yeah. And like I was planning to build it now, but it's like I'm just looking at just like, oh man, this deck has become one of those decks where it's just like anyone could pick it up and play it again. So it's just like, all right, I'm gonna still play it regardless. Like I'm still gonna rebuild and everything, but it makes it look at like
you say that
bad players now can run it and then like they can
you say that, but you have that bug too. You're probably gonna build it and play it like once or twice, and then you're gonna be like, you're gonna pull the me and Mike thing where it's just gonna be too good for you now.
Come over to the DM side. Come over to the version. Pick a version and let's go.
Hey, you're right now. I play DM. I love the Chimera version.
The training thing is so silly. I love it. But mark my words, that Omnimon deck, that's going to be the boogeyman for a little bit, I think.
It might be, yeah. It just became like that's the only downside feels like with in current times decks in Digimon. When they make them good, they make it to the point where, you could be a. Oh God, it's about to sound terrible. You could be a dead brain monkey that can run it and you do well with it. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't have to have actual skill with it. You just need to just know how to read the card and be like, okay, cool. Gallon X, I could go into Gallon X, no problem. Gallon X became one of those decks where it was just like, just get to Gallon X, you win. If you can't out it, you just win. Omnimon is starting to become that way just because it became way more consistent now with the CS stuff. To the point where it's like, you can just turn to Omnimon and potentially that's game. If you're able to keep turn on it and you just, if it's Alter S, you spit it apart, go back again, that's legit game. If you go into like CS Omni, if they can't out it, GG, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's pretty tough. Royal Knights is in one of those spots right now. Digimon a little bit too, right? If you go into Digimon's pretty standard combos of what to do and how to play. I think Galaxy became one of those as well. Galaxy a little more, I guess, a little more to it, but it's not that hard to figure out how to do Galaxy. Like
Galaxy. So the intricacy of just like going into like, let me gain value to go into this 6, like that part is easy. Agreed. Anybody can do that. But playing Galaxy against Gino with just the Grace Nova stuff really makes you think about like how you want. I mean, I guess it's just a difference in the like how you make up your deck, right? Because if you're playing Mirage or Invisi and Hex, it's kind of just like I just need to generate enough value so that I can get into my 6. But in actual Grace Nova, it feels a little bit different because obviously you have the choice of Diana or Apollo. But you don't necessarily have to like rely on doing things at that level. You can maybe like, especially depending on how you want to manipulate the memory, what you want to put your opponent at. Because most times Galaxy players, they will turbo into 6, turbo into Hex, pass turn and stuff like that. But Grace Nova gives you a little bit more flexibility. And I feel like that's why we haven't seen like that deck top, like actual Galaxy just yet. Because it didn't top, spoiler, it didn't top at the Gen Con regionals, just because there is a little bit more nuance involved in it compared to just dead brain, go turbo Hex, pass turn type thing. So
for what it's worth, too, the 2 Galaxy players that were in top 8 at MAWA were both playing more toolboxy style ones. One was playing just your standard Mirage, Hex, Invis, whatever, and the other one was playing that version with the old War Greymon that gets sec +1 for every 2 sources. Yeah.
Wow.
So no one was playing like
Greymon's good.
Tribal Galaxy.
Yeah. It's definitely just a different style of deck. And it's not so easy brain, so to say, in my opinion. But go ahead.
Yeah, I was just saying that sometimes Digimon, when decks become good, they become autopilot and you just do the combo and that's it.
Yeah, I know that's something that like Mario has said a lot about why he dislikes the current state of Digimon. Everybody has their own reasons for disliking the current state of Digimon if they dislike the meta. Mario's big thing is, I don't like that Digimon has gotten to a point where it feels like it's skillless. And yes, the way that some decks are constructed out of the set or with the support that comes out just makes it, oh, yeah, all right, you got it. Like, I hate to say it, but Royal Knights, did they see Omekamon? No? Yeah. You have a chance. Did they see the Omekamon? Like, there's no work required in the Omekamon combo. And for what it's worth, I think that there is like room to explore in the decks these little interactions that might not be possible, or not that it's not possible, that players might not think about. So like, for example, one very like micro level decision with Royal Knights is tapping your King Drazel to play out an Omekamon, even if you're not at 1 security or less. Because, you know, you can use that as an extra swing each turn. And that's where somebody like Law, shout out to Law, you know, taught me a little bit of how to play a newer style of Royal Knights, focusing on, I don't need to see BT13 Omni. If I, you know, slam an Omni X, that's 2 swings. When it goes to my opponent's turn, if they're not going to kill me that turn, I'll play this Omekamon out, because then I'm going to swing the Omekamon, and that's just an extra swing, and then I could try to aggress a little bit more. Obviously, a combo like, you know, Omni X into Crimson mode isn't like the most crazy combo. It's not like something like, oh my goodness, like, why didn't I think of that? But it's also, when it first happened to me, I was like, oh, yeah, that's a thing. That's, you know, that's cool to know. And there's just like little micro level things that you can pull out of various decks to try to show player skill and expression. But I would say that on a large part, most decks right now are fairly autopilot. I think I could agree with that. I don't think anything has been like, oh yeah, like, you know, when we made our tier list and we talked about like pilot oriented decks, you know, I think that's probably what we need to look at when we do our next tier list coming out soon. How much decks are play this deck and just kind of let it guide you to the win, to how much the deck is like, all right, you need to extract every little bit of player skill from the deck, to how much a deck really just it's good deck, but then it relies on player skill and not RNG. Tyrant probably being one of the best examples. I think that's still a fantastic deck, but it's more reliant upon RNG because of how much it costs to go into things, seeing your pieces when you need to see it, and how much memory you're going to end up giving your opponent on those plays. You're not really extracting player skill from a deck like that. You're just kind of hoping for the best in RNG, you know? So
I think that's why also...
go ahead, Dan.
I think that I was about to say, I think that's why Gino I like the DM decks, because it's very versatile. Like, it's not very linear. Yes, you got your main good combos, right? For V4, right? Play Nanimon, collect the 3 sources, go into Digitama for free, play a body out, and so on. Like, we've learned how to do different combos just off of that combo, right? Like, you have your main combo doing that. Make sure you tuck. Like, this is something I've seen Gino do and learn from it, right? When you do your 3 sources, and you have another Nani in trash, put that as your bottom source. So when you go Digitamamon, free Evo effect, trash your bottom source, play out a low 4, lower DM, you play that Nanimon again, Nanimon effect, you put the 3 source underneath, and then you can like turbo that out, right? Or like, you know,
well, you can't trigger double Nanimon because it's only end of your turn.
So if you end turn Evoing into Digitama, then you Like, for example, a play that I do a lot is I use meat to load what I want to trash so that it goes in the trash and I can play it with Digitama. Or like with the Nanimon play, they have an ace on the field that I can digivolve. I'll do Nanimon into Digitama, and that bottom source is Mono Crow. So when Mono Crow comes back, it snaps the memory back, and I could just slam another Nani, for example.
Yeah, that's nasty.
Right. So you could do different things, or like don't type analog youth, and then tap at the end of turn when you do that to bring it back to your turn, and then do things again. Like that's how there's so many like little intricate combos you could do that like on face you're not gonna really know unless you're playing it and you're like studying in the deck and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, for sure. If you have Nanimon in your hand, don't tap your analog youth if you want to really pop off. That's that's something that I've learned just by playing the deck. It was really funny the first time me and Dan played the deck. We were making so many misplays. We had we know how the deck works, so we know what we're doing, but we're like, wait a sec, like this doesn't work this way, does it? And then, you try and you play and you figure it out and you go from there. And having those more versatile kind of skill expressive-y decks are more fun for people like me and Dan. I will say though, that there is a big difference between we'll just say the best decks are usually some of the easier ones to play. There's a difference between a good Royal Knights player and a bad Royal Knights player. There's a difference between a good Sakuya player and a bad Sakuya player. And I've played against both of these kinds of players. And you can tell oh man, I probably didn't deserve that win, because if he knew what he was doing, I'd be cooked. You know what I mean? Or if he knew this interaction, I'd be cooked. Yes, I understand the whole, Digimon is getting a little less skilled because these decks are easier to play and they win faster and blah, blah, blah. But the good players are going to take those decks to the next level. And you're going to really see that when you play a good one and a bad one.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that much is true in any card game. I was actually, funny enough, I was having this argument with a friend of mine when I said that I was talking about Grand Archive and comparing it to Digimon, and he was like, but all card games are RNG based. So how is one game different from the other when it comes to skill level and etc. And I was like, well, it's because it's not RNG is just a factor, but it's not the entire story. Player skill still matters. If you take two players with the same exact deck, with the same exact cards, ordered in the same exact way, meaning that they will both draw in to the same cards, there's no difference in it, and they both get a chance to go first in a best of 3. The more skilled player most times will find what I was talking about earlier, those little things to take out of the deck and of the matchup. They will find those things and it'll lead them to the win more times than the skilled player wouldn't, get led to the win.
Right. Those are the micro transactions, whatever you want to call it, of a game like Digimon. That's what matters. Versus
any game for that matter.
Yeah. But versus other games like Yu-Gi-Oh is more, I think I would say Yu-Gi-Oh is more macro versus micro in that sense.
Okay. What do you mean?
Because Yu-Gi-Oh is just about you don't really do small interactions like that. There's no search top 3, grab a certain card. You just go grab your deck, you just go through your deck and
because
grab
you
whatever
just
or stuff like that.
Whatever card.
Right? You just grab whatever
you could say, but you could say that that's a micro level decision, right? Because I mean, if the player doesn't know the combo or they think there's a different line to take, they might grab something different than what a more experienced player would.
If you want, and we say like that, yes. But most times not.
But most times,
you read the cards. You read the cards.
The combo should be self-explanatory.
You will know this card is the card you want to grab. If you're gonna play, I don't know, and it probably what's easiest for anyone to talk about, right? If you play Reinforces Army in Heroes, the number one card you're gonna grab is Stratos. 9 times out of 10, Stratos is the one you want to grab because Stratos starts all your combos. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. Or another deck, right? Spyros in Yu-Gi-Oh. I don't know anything about Ships. We don't talk about trash decks.
No.
Anyways, if you don't talk about Spyros, right? If you play Spyro Resort, you know exactly which one you're gonna grab. You're either gonna grab between depending on what your hand looks like. You have a drone, you're gonna grab an agent. If you have a drone or agent already, you're gonna grab a quick fix. Like there's certain those things you already know what's gonna happen. You already know your combos. Like so I'm saying, like micro versus macro in that sense. Micro in the sense of Digimon. All right, let's go hatch Evo to rookie. Play blue Memboost. Search top 4. If everything's available to grab, which one do you grab that's going to help you? Do you know that you can grab a champion now and you risk the chance of not seeing a mega later, or do you grab a mega now, risk the chance of not seeing a champion because you think you have a ratio wise a better chance of seeing that champion? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Stuff like that is what matters a lot more in Digimon versus other card games.
And I do want to say, like, you can make the right decision, right? Because generally, like, if you see rookie, or if you see, let's say you don't have the champion and you don't have the level 6 in your hand, you're like, damn, like I need both for my game plan, but I have less level 6s in my deck. You know, let's say I have 6 level 6s to my 10 champions. Like, I should just take the champion, or I should just take the mega here, and then I can draw into the champion at some point. Like, that's not necessarily the wrong decision, but sometimes you will inherently get screwed by RNG. That's the RNG aspect of the game, right? But also, depending on the deck, sometimes making that decision to take the 6 over the 4, rather than making the more macro level decision to be like, all right, well, I need the 6, but I'm going to take the 4 because next turn I'm going to raise because I have another rookie in my hand. So I want to be able to build another stack as soon as possible. So I'll raise, Digivolve into this 4, do something. Maybe I'll take a swing at security, purposely die just to get a chip damage in, and turn on Tamer. And then next turn, I'm essentially going to, start my game over by building up again. And now I can try to just start generating more value or something along those lines. I agree. There's definitely like expression in how you want your game plan to go, because a game like Digimon is inherently different from something like Yu-Gi-Oh! Obviously, both Digimon and Yu-Gi-Oh! You both are given turns, but the structure of a turn in Digimon is nothing like the structure of a turn in Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! Is draw, standby, whatever effects, main phase 1, set up. Battle, if you go to it, maybe you attack. Main phase 2, if you have any main phase 2 effects, and then end phase. Digimon is just draw, stand everything, draw your card, hatch or raise, and now have fun.
Draw phase, hatch/breeding, and start a main, and then
have fun. Either you're going to attack or you're going to Digivolve and try to do some stuff, and that manner of sequencing does matter. That's why, last week when you heard Gino saying, or when you heard Dan saying, just swing, Varney, just swing, I'm like, no, the sequencing of this matters.
I was trying to teach one of my buddies some Digimon one time, and he's a big Magic guy. And the thing that like blew his mind was you can just swing anytime during your main phase. Like, you know what I mean? And that adds like so many layers to a game of Digimon. Like when you swing, if you should swing, if I raise here, what's my opponent going to do if they raise? Like, there's a lot of micro level decisions in Digimon, and I think that goes into the skill expression talk, right?
Yeah, I heavily agree with that. So if you guys have comments and whether you agree or disagree with anything that we said, let us know down in the comments. We love to hear it. It's always great to hear from other players how they perceive the skill level of the game, because obviously there are players who think that, and I'm not saying that to say that they're wrong. I'm just saying there are players who think that the game is skillless, and there are players who think that the game is skillful, right? It's on both ends. It's a spectrum. There's no clearly right or wrong answer here. And this is why I love podcasts, because I love open discussion. I love hearing thoughts, giving thoughts. It's what we do in the Discord a lot. I had someone today say, which we'll get into, that ruin mode should go to 1. And I was like, well, with the same logic that you provided, here's why Dexmon never went to 1. And then they gave me a counterpoint, and I said, all right, well, here's another counterpoint to your counterpoint. And they were like, you know what? Fair, right? And it's not to say that like, oh, well, Varney just wants to be right all the time. I do. That's not the point. It's just that discussion, right? If there's one thing that the Gundam community has been pissing me off with, is there's such a lack of wanting to discuss. There's just a lot of people with, pardon my language, there's a lot of people thinking that they're the hottest fucking shit in the world, trying to sling their big dick around. But it's like, what the fuck are you on? Like, you're seriously this is the high horse that you choose to fucking die on? Like, you didn't want to open up the room for discussion at all. You wanted to come out here and say, when you weren't even antagonized, it was just something that was said, and you so heavily disagree with this that your first thought is, you're a fucking idiot. Like, are you serious? This is not us, bro. But you guys, the Digimon community, you're all fantastic. So let us know down in the comments below. What do you think about this topic on player skill within the current card game? I would love to read it down below. With that being said, we are at the point in the podcast that a lot of you have come here for, and I will be trying to do my best with timestamps. This is the discussion of what is or what is not going to be banned. I don't know who wants to go first. Maybe we all just throw out a card that we want banned on 3. Are we good with that?
Yeah.
All right. On 3, everybody just yell out a card that they want banned. 1, 2, 3. I want every fucking Scramble banned.
I was gonna say something silly, but you guys all said the silly thing, so I'll just say Gravity Crush.
I wanted to say something stupid because the more you said it was pick a card, I'm like, all right, what card can I think of just off the top of the head? I was thinking Victor Greymon off rip for some reason.
I hate you and I hate everything that you stand for. You have rendered this conversation completely and utterly useless.
No. Listen, hear me out. Victory Greymon and Gaia Reactor, that's a board wipe, baby. That's busted.
That's broken. Hey, yo, you know what other card we need to get hit? The X Anybody option that kills everything. What's it called again?
X program.
Yeah. Too busted.
Actually, X Anybody Digimon are immune to that ability, so it's not actually that broken.
Hey, the 10 cost Omni card that just deletes everything.
Sir, that doesn't even activate out of security. It just says add it to hand.
Yeah. Oh my god. All jokes aside, I don't know. I got an idea.
Yes, you do.
I have
all right, Dan, go.
A hope
Give
list.
us the Dan take on the ban. What's the Dan hope list?
I bet you. I think I got like 75% of this. It's gonna be correct. I got this.
Okay.
Offer it. I don't know if they're gonna do the full thing, but I have a feeling they might just decide to go all memory boost, not memory boost, all memory gaining cards gone. So Grab Crush gone. Parabolic Junk gone. Tropic Venom gone because we're seeing decks just starting to abuse those again. Not again, but because they're realizing, hey, if I can't gain memory in other decks, let's just gain memory in this type of deck. Maybe we'll see. But I wouldn't be surprised if they're like, all right, maybe we just need to do it all once now. Put them on one. I think it's going to be Growl X versus Guilmon. I think Growl X is more of the problem card than it is the Guilmon card. It doesn't matter that Guilmon is at 1. The moment you see it, you can just keep looping it. So what do you hit the problem that's going to be the looping? It's the Growl X, in my opinion. That you just touch up, you put it to 1, call it a day. Unless they want to go ham and ban cards, but I don't think they're going to ban those cards.
I mean, they banned Matt because you see 1 and you can just keep looping it. So that's a good argument for banning Rush Guilmon. But I don't think they will.
I don't see them doing that though. Like I think Growl X is more of the issue than it is the Guilmon. For me personally, that's what I think at least. Because I see these other decks that can just abuse what Growl X does for them and then do better. So obviously like the random Anubis/Titamon deck, that only happens because Growl X is a card. That wouldn't happen if that Growl X isn't a card. Like, Guilmon at 4 was never a problem prior to Growl X being a card. You know what I'm saying? And so, what is Bandai's logic when it comes to X-Animated cards or decks that have X-Animated cards? It's the champions that's usually the ones that's the issue. Ralex is a champion. I think that's going to be the one they're going to touch up. Hey, maybe they'll hit both. Who knows? I think it's going to be one of those two, so that would be that. Talmon for Sukuyumon. I think that's the one that's got to go. And I just saw this, and this is actually brilliant. I think this was actually a good idea. Hairband, Yellow Scramble, and the Pause plugin, the Evo plugin, mode? I mean.
Oh, okay.
No. So you can't have both in the same deck. You do one or the other, and you can't, abuse it, right? Or you hairband something with Scramble or Sukuyumon and Scramble, Yellow Scramble, so then you definitely can't use it. Because if you're gonna play Sukuyumon, you're never gonna play Scramble. Maybe that's the way you go with it instead. Just to for sure separate those things. And then now you can't abuse Voldarm and go into her for, free, unless you already have a training set up and you haven't used your training to go into. I think that's actually more fair than, that's the correct way, I think, to go with that. What else? And then for Royal Knights, for me, what?
I don't think they'll pair. If they pair ban like plugin and Scramble, you just won't see anyone play plugin anymore. They're just gonna all go to Scramble because Scramble's gonna get you more value. I don't think they'll do that. That's why I switched it up.
That's why I said Scramble and Sukuyumon instead.
Right. Yeah.
Like if you go one or the other, you can't. If you go Sukuyumon, all right, now you're stuck with the Evo plugins, and then I think that's fair, right? That's fine. If you can't, because Scramble does so much for them, and if you're gonna go Scramble, you're losing out Sukuyumon, and now you're playing a different style deck.
Can I be real? I appreciate the attempt from Bandai, or it's not an attempt because they succeeded in what they did. I appreciate what they did in acknowledging that a plugin focused Sukuyumon wasn't going to do anything. So instead of limiting her to just plugins, they allowed her to use yellow options. With that being said, I also hate that that's the direction that they took that in. Because I don't think the ramifications of, well, surely, like, oh, yeah, you can use... So, okay, let me paint the picture. So we went from... Where do we start here? It was maid mode. BT10 maid mode said that you can use an option card with plugin in its name, or that is yellow and has a cost of 5 or less from your hand. If we rewind the clock, let's take a look back at the deck that I never got to play, that I was very highly upset that I never got to play, in Yellow Hybrid at its prime, right? What that deck did was, because it was a hybrid deck, there's a card that is currently on the ban list. Anybody know what that card might be? That is 5 cost or less and is yellow, right? That card is Sunrise Buster, which says you may play a yellow or red tamer from your hand without paying the cost, of course. Then one of your opponent's Digimon gets neg 3000 DP for each yellow and or red tamer you have in play. This card was not abused in Shine. Shine is not why this card was hit. This card was hit because of Yellow Hybrid. There's Yellow Hybrid, you just Digivolve into Sakuya Maid mode, and you play the Sunrise Buster for free, and then you play your Tamer, you do the neg, and then that card goes to your security. So,
and Vardy, what's that card's security effect? Surely you don't get to do it again.
Surely you don't get to do it again, right? Right? You get to do the same exact thing again. So, Yellow Hybrid, let's say you have like 3 tamers out. Digivolve maid mode. No, let's say you have 2, right? I think 2 is a reasonable amount. Digivolve into maid mode. You play Sunrise Buster. You play the 3rd. That's a neg 9, not counting anything else that you might be able to do, whatever. Then you put it to your security. Then you get the effect again. And that's just when you Digivolve. For the whole cost of 3. For a cost of 3, for just Digivolving, you play this 5 cost option that gives you a tamer and DP negging. Massive value. So it was acknowledged that that was a problem. Sunrise Buster was hit to 1. And the next time they designed a card, they said, let's try not to do that again, right? All right, that was BT10. Fast forward, BT17. We get a Talmon that says you may use one option card either with plugin under its name or is yellow, but you reduce the cost by 2. So you have to pay a cost. Yeah, that seems pretty good. And then you have a Sukuyamon that says use one 5 cost or less option, plug in his name, or is yellow. Okay, so we're back to the same stuff, but you know what? They haven't printed busted 5 cost options or less, right? Or so we thought. Now we have a card that just says, I think they fixed it with BT19. Yeah, BT19 here. One single color option card with a use cost of 5 or less. You only have yellow because it's Sukuyamon unless you're playing other tamers. Therefore, it's basically, unless you're splashing the inconsistency or you find a way to make it consistent, you can only use a monocolor option card. No dual color, right? We've finally gotten around to fixing that issue 9 main sets later. But now you still have these cards that are reducing the play cost of the cards that they're playing. And what are they playing? Oh, I'll play Memory Boost. And I'll search for 1, and I'm going to get 2 memory back. Or I'll play Wisdom Training for free and also get my cost reduction later. Or the biggest offender, I will play Scramble and free Evo into my Sukuyamon, which you guys are going to say, not you guys, but some people might say, but you know, we have Green Digi-Evolution plugin. Agreed. That's a fair card. Digi-Evolution plugin is a fair card. That says you can only Digivolve into something that has a cost of 3 or less for free. But you either pay 2 for it or you're using it with Sukuyamon, and you do have to have a tamer in play because it is green. And all you get is just a draw 1. That sounds fair to me. How does that sound to you guys? Does that sound fair to you guys? Because I don't know. I'm kind of okay with that, but Talmon and Scramble for free? Like, we had this issue back in BT10 on a much smaller scale. And it kind of never got addressed until it was just too late. And so here we are. We're in BT22 and we have somewhat of the same problem that we had back in BT10 when the original Sukuyamon was hit for doing some of, not the same shenanigans. Obviously, Sukuyamon now just digivolves for free, but it's the problem of what happens when you introduce a deck that uses option cards for free, but they aren't archetype locked. Justimon. You have to play with these specific cards that are they're not bad. They're not like good. Ragnarok Cannon, fantastic card. Lucimon just got a fantastic card as well. You have to pay for those. You're not using them for free. Justimon, I think, is the only other deck, or I guess Galactic plays the Ragnarok for free, but you have to fulfill conditions for it. That's it. Like, nobody else is really like playing these options for free like that. And obviously the decks aren't good or as good because they're locked into this specific archetype. Why was Sukuyamon opened up to this use anything you want, Sukuyamon? Like, I applaud the effort that was put into it and that they succeeded, but I hate that this is how it went. Hate it. Dan, how do you feel about Sukuyamon? I was just gonna say, how do you feel about Sukuyamon?
I hate it.
I hate everything about that deck, man.
Yeah, stupid ass fox thing. Like, I'm gonna say some other words, but I don't want to offend people. But anyways, it's just dumb the way it does it. To me, it's the new Fenrir Taki deck, right? You could potentially get high roll in turn 2. 2 checks unspent, 2 checks. You have a rush token as well, and that's game basically. And the problem is, again, Volderom not being a DNA is also such a weird thing because they can abuse it. I think if they were paying full cost, it wouldn't feel as bad because it's like, all right, cool. Even if you get the Volderarm effect to gain the 2 memory, all right, this is a 3 cause Evo basically, and it wouldn't feel as bad. And because they're gonna be guaranteed probably pass and turn, and probably not being able to swing as often because they won't. You can't do like the Evo plugin on it, and they will have to do some other means of reducing it. So they have to save their trainings, like I mentioned before. That's why I was saying maybe they do a pair ban with Takuya and the Scrambles, so you can't play them together. So that doesn't happen. I would rather them have to like work a little bit because they already draw like 7 cards when they do combo. That combo is 9 cards draw basically. 50 card pickup, might as well, you know. So pick up your whole deck because that's basically what you're gonna be doing. I
always make this joke that they hit Mirage too soon. They hit Mirage too soon. Sakuyamon player, how many cards are in your hand? Please tell me.
20. Bet we're gonna gain like 6 memory because he drew, right? And we're just at a point where we need to do something with it, slow it down. I know like regional wise, it hasn't like always done consistently well, and that's why I'm worried that it might dodge it. But I think it's something that needs to be touched up because I know that was not intended. I know it was not intended for them to abuse the crap out of Scrambles. I know it was definitely unintended for them to abuse Scrambles plus Volderarm plus Ruin Mode, right? That's why they killed the loop first time. And you know we have a different style loop with stacks Takuya going to whichever one they go into.
I would be fine if the deck did its stupid shenanigans, but didn't have free evos into Ruin Mode and Volderarm.
Right, that's the whole point.
Because like, okay, whatever. Like you get up into your line, you have all these attacks, whatever. But then you go into Volderarm because you're already going to get the unsuspend, right? But now you're going into Volderarm. My board is locked down and I can't do anything to clap back the 4 checks that you just took off of me. Or alternatively, you have now taken potentially 2 checks from me and locked me out of game with Ruin Mode on a neg 10k. Neg 5k I'm okay with because we can play around neg 5k. But a lot of decks, most decks, can't play around neg 10k. What the hell is even that? Like, that's just so annoying. So
it's true. It makes me so sad, man, because I think all the plugins are so cool. Like the black one's cool. The one that makes you undeletable in battle's cool. Even the white one that you get to throw in security and get a memory off of is cool. They're not very good because they're not Scramble. But like once Scramble came out, it just changed Sakuyamon into a deck that I used to love to play, and now it's like it just feels dirty, man. Not fun dirty. Dirty.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna do 2 checks on suspend, at least use the plugin that gives you second attack +1 on the Supreme Mode
exactly.
X, right? Like,
that's what I used to do. That's how I was playing the deck. Yeah.
Cool, you did your thing that you're supposed to be doing with your plugins. That's the archetype. That's what you're supposed to be doing. But instead, now you're just going to a Volderarm and getting it. Yay.
I hate that. It's just so annoying, man.
Yeah, it is. And that's why I think they still should hit it again. Unattended interactions, the game. So we'll see what they do with it. But I think they gotta touch it up for sure. Should we move on to the next ones that
So I'll tell you. You talked about Growlix, so let's just talk about Growlix a little bit in depth here. So Growlix, it's the hot topic of the town, right? Everybody wants Growlix hit, but the Gallantmon enjoyers don't want Growlix hit. There are also people like myself. Like I was on the fence. I'm not on the fence. I'm on the fence. I'm not on the fence because I just don't know. Like it is very clearly a fantastic card, but the power level of it doesn't feel like our other X antibodies to me personally. And so let's talk about the other X antibodies. Greymon X, the first one to catch a stray. We talked about this last week, so I'll just run through it real quick. It was banned or limited, because it allows you to evo too fast, effectively. They quoted the protection effect, but I will stand by the fact that this protection effect is the most fair protection effect in the game, in my opinion. You get you bottom. It's not even like you trash it or you bounce it to hand. No, you bottom deck the X antibody. It's gone because we don't have search, and then you can remove this stack. That effect in a bubble is the most fair protection effect in the game.
Even if you compare, even if you combine it with the Agu X that came out of the set, no matter what, it's only a one-time thing.
Exactly.
Versus like what Guru X plus Gabu X, that was double you're able to do it.
Right, exactly. Or
that's what I'm saying, it's fair.
It's other Greymon X that just allows you to purge 2 source and stack. So, oh cool, Agu X, Greymon X, Metal Greymon into Sagittarius mode, into Metal Greymon X back into Sagittarius mode, because Alterous mode, because that can digivolve from a Metal Greymon in name, I'm almost sure.
The one with the protection, yeah.
So you can stack up protection and make it this immovable stack. This Greymon X protection is just super fair. But it was mainly limited for that one cost to Digivolve Ultimate, right? Now we have Guru X. I mean, card draw, am I right? This card alone allows altering one's hand to a great degree, and it offers greater consistency than is reasonable for decks that can use it. In addition, it can also this card can be used not only by Gururumon decks, but also decks that utilize the trash. As a result, there is little reason to use other cards because this card is just so goddamn good through translation. Okay, yeah, clearly, right? Clearly. Now we have Numamon X. When using Numamon decks, this card has high board retention from the beginning of the game, and its inherited effect can be reused when combined with other cards, allowing this single card to significantly increase the ability to control the entire deck. In addition, since a level 6 can also be played by its effect, it's easy to digivolve from there to level 7, which has a higher output to create a one-sided control board at an early stage. As for the reasons stated above, we expect this card will play a very large role in the deck, resulting in a loss of diversity in the cards included. Mind you, its on deletion as an inherited is not restricted as to what it can do. It is just going to play whatever the hell it wants to do. The all turns that's on body is the only thing that actually matters, which most times you don't care about the all turns on body, because you can just digivolve into Monzaemon and then Monza X and then spit thing out and then create board, and then oops, I died, teehee, I'm gonna spit out Platinumamon, and now I'm gonna do a ruin mode, or what they would have been able to abuse, I'm gonna do a Valder arm. You know what I mean? So like, okay, yeah, fair point. Growl X. This is a card that just says filter, draw one, trash one. And now on deletion, you can play out a Guillemot. That is strong. How strong is that compared to the other 3X antibodies that got hit? If they follow the trend, I do believe that Growl X would get hit. It would be logical, right? Deck engine is being used, super powerful, yada yada. Just pop the X antibody level 4. But when I look at it, I don't mind the decks that use and abuse it. What I really care about is this motherfucking Guillemon that just says, in the case of like Angry Birds or Bird Flu, or however you want to call the Phoenixmon variant that uses the Growlmon engine, play Guillemon, gain rush, and then build another stack. Or no, you don't even care. I guess. All right, actually, hold on.
Guess what? Guess what's the only reason why they're gonna play it? It's called Growl X. You take out Growl X, they ain't never gonna play that. They're gonna go back to the normal birds.
Forget Growl X in this case. I just remember, like, you were saying that Guillemon's been around for so long, it hasn't been a problem up until now. And I'm going to agree with you there, because I just remembered there's this one card that exists, a very lovely card. Does anybody want to take a guess at what this card is called for birds?
Garuda X.
That's my boy Garuda X, baby.
Garuda
Give me
X.
that rush.
When a red card returns from your trash to the hand, one of your Digimon gains rush for the turn. Kind of rendering my entire argument invalid, since it's just going to say, all right, cool. I played the body out with Phoenix X end of attack. Now I get to give it rush and I get to do more shenanigans. Yeah, that does create a lot of potential issues with game design in the game. Sorry, Growlix, you gotta go. Sorry, you guys listened for the last, 5 or 10 minutes expecting me to make a good case for Growlix, and I thought I was going somewhere, and then I remembered Garuda X was a card that beat my ass in at the last IRL, and my opinion's been changed. So, yeah, Growlix. Sorry, bud, you're out.
Dan 500, Varney 0 still.
You know what, you can...
who's right? I was wrong.
Gino, do you have any thoughts on Growlix?
It's gotta go, baby. It's gotta go. Nothing that hasn't already been said. The loop decks suddenly lose all of their value. They're playing Guilmon. They're playing Rush Guilmon off of the effect, but you can run 4 Rush Guilmon, but you gotta play that fucker for 3. Yeah, instead of playing him for free when you kill yourself either on accident or on purpose. So it'll slow down the rush decks quite a bit, and all the Growl engine really. And honestly, all of those. Okay, maybe not all of those, but I'll equate it to Garurumon X. I think they'd cut it for the same reason as Garurumon X, because it's creating an engine. Why use other cards in a red or purple deck? You know what I mean? Because that was their reasoning for Garuru X, is why would you play any other cards than purple base Gabumon when we have Garurumon X? And I think that's the same argument for Growl X.
Okay.
Yeah. Growl X. So here's the thing, right? Gio just mentioned a point that doesn't get talked about enough. Sure, Guilmon has rush. Guess how much you still gotta pay if you want to play it, even running at 4. It's still a 3 cost drop at end game. Do you have that? Maybe so. Great, but you gotta have it in your hand. It's not in your trash. Growlix is bringing it back from trash because when you have the Growl X engine, as someone who's played quite a bit of it in different versions of it in Millenniumon and Astral Magidramon, played a little of the Growl X loop on accident just because I was trying different things. You don't care about having that Guilmon in your hand. You care about it being in your trash. So you're going to trash, you see him in your hand, you're going to trash it as soon as possible. The difference between something like Purple Hybrid playing them at 4 versus that is that you don't, you kind of get it the one time and you don't want it in your trash. You want it in your hand so you can value drop it when you can to go for that game. That's the only reason why you have it. And if it's in trash, SOL, because you're not running Growlix in a Purple Hybrid deck that plays it. Unless you're going to do some weird shenanigans, but that's neither here nor there. So it doesn't matter. Now, here is another thing that people try to argue against it, which I think is a false attempt. It's not a good argument, which is that if you're looking at it from a Gallimon perspective, that is a wrong way of looking at it, because if your eyes on Growl X is just through lenses of Gallimon player, you're not understanding the full value of what the card does for you. Because in that is just more of all right, I get to draw and trash my pieces.
Honestly,
I get there.
Honestly, one could argue that Growlix is kind of, I'm not saying it is, but just to add to your argument, one could argue that Growlix is one of the worst cards for Gallimon. If you were to rate all the cards, because what does it give? If they lose, no, I'm not. So I'm saying that if they lose Growlix, right? Gallimon doesn't really lose anything.
Yeah, it loses some consistency. That's what it loses, because it's free ego, free draw trash. That's what that is for them, basically.
Right, but it loses you that one singular card draw, and I value that card draw a lot. But realistically speaking, Gallimon doesn't be it's not like Greymon, where Greymon lost Greymon X and phew, or Garurumon as a deck lost Garuru X, shoo, or Numamon as a deck lost Numa X, and shoo. Galamon's just gonna lose Gal X and just be like, oh, I guess I got touched up a bit.
In that type of sense, it won't be as noticeable. It will lose the memory gain on when they do like the crazy
one of the memory gain
turns. That's what they're gonna lose. That's where it values them more than anything.
They got Staccatos. They're good.
True.
The thing with Growl X in a Gallantmon list, a pure Gallantmon list, is that the thing that they will lose is their comeback, because they go into Gallant X the same turn that they go into Growl X. Yep. And now if my opponent removes Gallant X, oh cool, I spit out a rookie and I can fight back next turn if they can't remove
potentially
because most of the time when you're dealing with Gallantmon, you have to pass turn to do it. When you're dealing with Gallant X, so you're gonna have your rookie on the board, and you may have enough resources stockpiled that you can build a whole nother stack. So I'm not saying that. I agree with you that Gallantmon hitting Growl X isn't going to hurt Gallantmon that bad, but it is going. You're gonna feel it.
It does get touched up, right? Scrambles.
And the thing with
go back to playing them.
Exactly. The thing with just one more thing on Growl X here and Guilmon, that's why you got to hit Grav Crush, because all of a sudden that 3-cost drop Guilmon doesn't matter if you've got 2-3 Grav Crushes in hand. So as long as both of those cards are hit, Rush Guilmon doesn't need to go, in my opinion.
I think that's like a foregone conclusion right now, based on their reasoning for hitting both Blinding Ray and Jack Raid. It's very clear that Gravity Crush is gone. The bigger question is if they're going to have the balls to deal with the rest of them like we all wanted them to do the last time.
Originally, yes.
Because Mike was on pod when Hammer Spark got hit, and he said, damn, they hit Hammer Spark? Why didn't they hit the rest of them? And, we had our arguments. Well, Jack Raid requires setup and Gravity Crush. If you don't win the game in that turn, you pass over the memory, and Tropical Venom requires you to suspend something or delete something, blah, blah, blah. And look at us now. Like, I know if I go back to that pod and I find my reasoning, yeah, that's a clown take from Varney for sure. You guys can have that one.
But the difference is back then that's hard to say, because like back then it wasn't wrong for that time. You know what I'm saying? Because back then, when Hammer Spark got hit back then, those other cards wasn't as valuable because Hammer Spark was free. There was no given. It was just one free memory. That's all you needed to do. You didn't need to do anything else with it. Back then, those other decks that needed to use Jack Raid or Grav Crush or whatever were slower decks. The deck was slow. Game was a little bit slower back then, I should say. In today's game, where we're already fast and we can abuse the memory as much as we can nowadays, with a lot more free evos or reduced evos compared to back then, I think that's what makes now the free memory in Grab Crushes, Jack Rays, Tropical Venom if they use it for green decks, Parabolic Junk, makes it stronger now, and that's why nowadays those type of cards are okay to put it at 1 because of the way the game is.
So I'll agree with you because at the time Hammer Spark was hit, reasoning this card has long been used in decks that include blue, and now it makes possible to use multiple copies in a single turn, and it speeds up the game, yada yada. So when Hammer Spark was hit, okay, like I'll concede on that, but I know when they was out here and they hit the Jack Raid and they hit the Blinding Ray and they said, since this card was designed, etc., etc., etc. Yes, that is true. You are correct. The game has sped up. What about the other 3 that exist that are all 0-cost memory gaining options for doing something? Parabolic Junk, in my opinion, is the next one to be broken, because with something like Negamon, it marginally gets value off of Parabolic Junk. But what about decks? Like, we will get decks that just want to. I mean, Negamon does want to die, but it is also a different sort of deck because you don't necessarily want to see it as you're trying to build up to your Negamon. You don't really care about your memory gain too much. But what about something that occurs where it's like, oh, well, I only want my Digimon to die. That is my entire purpose of this deck. And now Parabolic Junk that says, hey, when you do what you were going to do anyways, gain 2 memory off of it, like we are at that point in the game where these cards need to be hit. And I feel like at this point, everybody's in agreement, which is a far cry because I remember that time when Jack Raid and Lightning Ray got hit and we said like Gravity Crush should have been on there. And the arguments were like, nah. Like both back and forth. But now everybody's just like, yeah, all 6 of them. Let's just axe them all because we're all collectively tired of these. It is funny to see that.
If they don't hit Parabolic Junk, I'm putting that in my Lord Nightmon list. I'm going Rie effect. I got Parabolic Junk, kill that level 3. I'm going into Lord Knight for 1, baby.
You with definitely. Lord Knight, depending on what the Zafaga support looks like, Tropical Venom is lined up as well. Hey, Medieval, you just got a little bit cheaper there, buddy. I know people are already doing it, but I mean, Zafaga just isn't good right now to begin with. Thus feeding into my woes as a green player, unfortunately. Somehow I have ended up being a green player. I don't know how the hell I ended up taking refuge in green. Man plays one green deck and calls himself a green player. No, I was called a green player by the comments, sir. They were like, yeah, I understand Varney's gripes. You know, it's tough when you're trying to play your favorite color. And I was like, I actually don't like green. And then I thought about it and I was like, oh, wait, I love Zafagamon and I love Digimon. And okay, yeah, that's fair. I do love me some Digimon, man. I was
the one that played this crap a ton of it back then.
Listen, sir, I don't know how you can just invalidate my love for Digimon just because you were the only one who played it. I too love Digimon, okay?
Okay. Anyways. Next card, Royal Knights.
Okay, yeah. What you want to hit?
I think they need to do... I don't know if they're going to do one of them, but I think Purge is the one that needs to get hit. The other thing I'm thinking of, I think they might need to do a hairband with Genku and Omni X or something, because that's definitely... Bandai's notorious to hit things that was very, very like unattended or loose that shouldn't have happened. And the Genkumon playing Omni X was 1000% not intended because it states Omnimon. Oh,
you Omni ever X, wonder?
Whoop-de-doo. It's like, how do you do this?
You ever wonder like what they think? Like, it's not like it's that difficult to kind of like cross-check cards, right? Like, they sat down and they designed Omni X. And they said, this is very clearly Royal Knights support. One of the core cards in Royal Knights has always been Genkumon. It's not a foregone conclusion to read the card that says that you can't play Omnimon.
My question is, back in BT13, why didn't they just say Omnimon and name? Like, that's all you have to do, and none of this is a problem. I mean, you're not...
Like, because the Omnimons back then didn't have... on-play effects, the Omni X's.
Sure.
Man, just
I agree with you.
He should have just played Jessmon, all right? He shouldn't be playing these other Royal Knights out. He should have just been playing. He is Jessmon's mentor, nobody else.
Exactly.
Like, come on, man. But realistically, yeah, the Genku Omni X thing. If there were ever a time for Bandai to do an errata change, this would be the card to do it too.
I've 100%. Said that many a time.
Yeah, I think that's what this would be an errata that like people would be like, this makes sense. Like they wouldn't be like people that be mad about it unless you're really mad about it because you're a Royal Knights player and you like swear by it or something. But like if you're a Royal Knights player, you know
Genku
that
Omni X is a nasty ass play.
It is, and it shouldn't be a thing. Like that should not be a thing at all. Especially when it says Omnimon and like the text says Omnimon. Like I get it as Omni X, but like god damn, that shouldn't be a thing. But it is currently, and maybe they do a pair band. I don't think Genkumon itself is like.
Genkumon's a fantastic card, but we only play him at 2.
One, right? Like
we only play him at 2.
1, so you
hit it at 1. It's just like
unless you're going to decide to start banning things and when things need to be banned. But like if you do a pair ban with Omni X combo with Genkumon, you ain't never gonna see Genkumon anywhere else because that's
unfortunately
a really nice card. So like, what do you do with that card in that situation now, right? Omni X, you gonna hit Omni X? You're not hitting Omni X. Let's be real. I don't think Omni X needs to be hit. It's a very strong card. Don't get me wrong. But if you put it at 1, every deck plays it at 1 regardless. If you were playing it prior. So if the issue is a Royal Knight situation, then it's like, I guess, but like, it's a secret rare. They ain't gonna really touch it. It's not doing APOC things. You know what I'm saying? It's not warping the game in that sense. It's very strong. If Madden X is not getting touched, Omni X is not getting touched. So like, that's not even a conversation for me. It's the issue of the combos it gets stuck with. That's the issue.
Yeah, I don't think they'll actually do anything about it. I don't think enough people have like complained, because they've stated that as reasoning for why they have hit certain things, you know, due to player dissatisfaction. And, you know, if you guys are really upset by the Genku Omni X play, you need to make a bigger stink about it.
I've heard a lot of people talk about that combo before though.
Not like Blue Hybrid or Mirage, you know.
Sure, but I definitely seen people.
I'm just saying, not to that level that Bad Knight's gonna be like, damn, there's mad ass players that like don't like this combo. We should do something about it. I feel like this just won't get touched up, and the only thing that'll happen is Purge will get hit, and they'll call it a day when it comes to Royal Knights.
Because I know like Mekamon is a very strong card, and Cool Boy, very strong card. The Last Guardian, good consistency piece and protection to Omnis. And Omni X, like those 4 cards, like I understand why people will complain about it, but I don't think those cards are needed to be hit, because that's what made it to be tier 1 again. And I think that's okay.
Yes.
I think it's the issue of the cards that support it that make it broken feeling. Like Purging out Omni X is crack. You know what I'm saying?
It's bringing down the power level. The goal of any ban list isn't to nerf this deck into existence. It's a balance patch. Let's take it from being as powerful as it was, bring it down just a touch so that other decks can try to fight up against it. That's all it is. That's all a ban list should ever be. We're not Konami. This isn't Yu-Gi-Oh!
And here's the thing. If they hit Purge, you can, like, the thing with Purge is that you can use Purge to tuck Omeka. So if Purge is at 1, Omeka is easily played around. You know what I mean? Like, I was just talking about it in my MAWA run. I suspended his ass and I never let him unsuspend. And I just never killed him. You know what I mean? Like, there are ways to play around Omeka. Purge says, I'm going to put Omeka in there anyway. LOL. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like,
yeah.
There are ways to play around it.
When I learned that Purge could do that, I was like, oh man, y'all in for a bad time, because I can't play him. That's fine. He's gone right in my stack.
Right. And also, you know, Purge is normally 6 cost, right?
Yeah.
So
and
it becomes a 3 cost. Yeah, 3 cost when you have the full 4 Yigis on it. And for 3 costs, you're putting him underneath. Like, who cares, right? Like, instead of doing whatever else you could put him in, and you set up Econo. But like, also, you know, you putting Galamon in, bringing out Rush, Swing, whatever, Omni X combo with Crimson Mode, because you already played Omni X for free, and then you go Crimson Mode effect, give it Rush, Swings, trash 3 game, you know. Purge just does a lot, and I think that's a perfect card to hit for the deck. And then you go from there. You go, all right, let's see if this deck is still toxic. If the deck's still feeling toxic or whatever, or it's still the most representative or whatever, then you do another hit to do something. But I think Purge is the perfect hit. It's not overly too crazy of a hit. It slows down your combos, slows down a bit, and, you know, not being able to just Omni X, right? And me personally, I don't know if they will, but the Genku plus Omni X thing, those are my hits for Royal Knights.
That also changes the deck back into like what it was in BT13, where it's like, I'm gonna wait until I got all my setup and then all the knights are coming out to beat you up. Because with Purge at 4, you just need to purge out Omni X twice and you probably win, because you get 2 checks every time he purges out. Like,
and then your Last Guardian, keep it, and then you just keep it chilling there or something.
Exactly. I think Purge is the right hit. I don't think anything else really needs to go at this time. I mean, other than Stanku, but that's me.
As a Royal Knights player, I agree. I ain't got shit to say. As long as I get to keep my Mechamon at 4, I'm good. I love my stupid little crayon eater.
Because
especially with my Leopardmon.
You gotta think about it of how like Bandai intended those cards. Bandai intended Omegamon to do Omegamon shenanigans.
Right.
Purge, on the other hand, of what you're able to do now, not really.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, they designed the card knowing that Royal Knights was a deck and that Genkumon could play out OmniX.
No. There's a difference between when it came out in BT13 versus now.
No.
Different.
They very clearly knew that there was no Royal Knight support from BT13 from BT14 up until, I guess BT20. Gallantmon. Let's not really count Gallantmon, however, because that was in Royal Knight support. That was straight Gallantmon support. BT14 up until BT20. So when they designed the cards, they looked at the deck. They looked at Genkumon. They read this effect can't play Omnimon and said, "Oh yeah, this is fine."
I wouldn't have trusted you didn't.
There are ways to, like, even when they were designing it, they could have just said, if this card was played by hand, activate its on play effect or something like that. That way you can get around Genkumon throwing it out. You would still get a swing at the end of turn because it, end of turn is going to trigger, but you won't get the on play to, what is it? Bottom deck something, I think it is. So at least you can get around that aspect of it. You could have tried to nerf the card a little bit, but yeah, they read that Genkumon. They read Purge. They didn't have any problems when they released it. They said, you know what? It's fine. Cool Boy's in Liberator, and he needs some fucking help. So, yeah, this is a Liberator deck now, buddy. Hey, there are 16 cards in that deck, man. 16 cards. It's a Liberator deck. What other deck we want touched up?
I think it's time to ban both Galaxy Tamers. Straight up ban. Because we're getting a new loop. We're getting a new infinite memory loop with the blue Tamer. You already know how Bandai feels about loops. But at this point, if you're going to keep pair banning with all these cards, you just ban the card because the card itself is a problem. This was a Konami thing back in the day when it came to Crystal, what's it called? Halifax, whatever it was called. I forget what the first part of the name. Crystron Halifax. That card was so problematic. They banned like 5 cards that was around it, but they never
so
banned
they pulled
the
an
card. And then they finally banned it afterwards, and they released those other cards because they were like, "Oh, it is this card that's the problem." And this is the exact same thing. We're in the same exact scenario with this blue Tamer card. This card is a problem. You're able to do infinite combos. There's like 3 different new loops now you can do. The one with the hybrids plus Rise Gray. There's one with the Leopardmons you can do now. And then there's like something else you can do now with it. It's gotta go. Time to ban it. It's okay. Or you ban Matt. Matt's a way worse card, way worse than fucking blue Galaxy Tamer. Like, it's nowhere near as good as blue Galaxy Tamer and the things it's doing. It's looping within its own thing. It doesn't even create these infinite loops. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to your opponent's turn just to steal it right back. You know what I'm saying? It's time to go. Ban it.
You know what?
A day.
You know what? I will give you both Ko and Sayo and Sayo and Ko if I can get Davis and Ken on that ban list too. That's my trade. I will give up those 2 if I can get Davis and Ken on that damn list, because god damn, there's no tamer I hate more in this game than motherfucking Davis and fucking Ken.
Oh, yeah, you haven't played against Nokia yet.
Yeah, you haven't. Nokia is actually. Yeah, Nokia is now a thing. So, like, if Nokia is a thing.
That's why I say the trade, because I know they're not going to hit Davis and Ken. But I'm looking at this Galaxy. I'm looking at this Imperial list playing 3 Hex and 3 Invisi, and I'm just like, why are we here? Why am I looking at this? Can this not be a thing? Like, I know it's gonna rear its ugly head, and I'm gonna get mollywopped by yet another Imperial list. And what's going to happen is they're not going to be playing the game because they're not going to see their Davis and Ken. And I'm going to raise thinking that I'm safe, and I'm going to swing. First check is going to be Davis and Ken. And I'm just going to reach across the fucking table, bro. I'm going to just reach across the table. You damn Imperial players. You know what I mean? You always got it. Judge, they're stacking.
And then the other red Galactus hammer got to go to is just ridiculous on what you can do. It's so much value. Being able to get into any of your 6s for free, your 7s for free, and now they have access to purple. Using and abusing that card, it's crazy.
It's all good. It's all good. I'll take a free Leviamon, bro. Leave me alone.
No, we don't want no free Leviamons now. We don't want no free Anubismon.
I don't want that either. Actually, I don't. I wish. I hope. I'll give those hits because, like, I recognize that, like, those are problematic for the game as well. I just hope that if they do hit them, they give us basically an equivalent that is locked for Galaxy.
Sayo is a great card.
Yeah,
like,
but it's
Sayo
not.
In itself is.
Yeah, sure, but we go back to having just like 4. Well, I don't know if they'll ban. If they outright ban,
no, they need to ban them.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, if they outright ban them, we just go back to having 4 tamers. And then Galaxy is essentially back at square one where it was when it first came out.
You're going to get a new Galaxy tamer anyways in BC24. It's going to happen.
That's what I was saying, though, before you cut me off, you rude fuck.
I think, so the blue one has to go for sure. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Like, Dan hit it on the head perfectly. I think the red one is fine at 1 for now, because that's 1 power play you get a turn if you find it. And, like, going into 7s for free, yes, it's stupid. But what's stupid is the fact that you're getting 2, 3 of these guys on the board, and you're just doing that all game, man. And I think 1 is okay. I think because then you have 5 tamers. You can play 4 Sayo and your 1 Sayo Co. And I think that's fair. You still have your couple power plays.
I was gonna say, you still have stupid Lunamon and Coronamon that can go from Coronamon dumbass and just do. I could go into a 2 back to a 3 because that makes sense.
The thing with the blue one, we don't need that anymore. We got Apollo Ace. Apollo Ace does what the blue one does, but it doesn't enable turn steal BS that wasn't intended.
Yep. Like I said, I acknowledge that they are cards that should be hit. I just hope that if they do hit them, they give us another one that does what they do, but it only does it in archetype, because the entire idea, I mean, it's the same thing for CS. The entire idea is digivolve yourself, digivolve into another thing. And relying on Sayo is all fine and dandy, but Sayo doesn't, like, you're only going to be able to essentially get that degeneration like once per turn. So if you digivolve into the 4, you have to degenerate into the 3 to go into the 4. And this, I know we joked about this, but the deck can have an issue because Cressamon is so good. You will end up spending memory to do your combo. But because the new Cressamon only digivolves to 3, it has no cost reduction. It's very good. You are clearly playing it at 4, but you don't get to, cheat your way up the way that you used to. And that makes it so that it has some like awkward turns. Because I had that with Gino a lot, where I was like, damn, if only I had that like 1 more memory, and I just didn't have it, because prior I would have just digivolved into a Cressamon or a Flaremon.
Yeah, because you only had 8 that turn. Yeah, if you only had 1 more.
Yeah.
You gave me 8. All right.
No, I gave you 4, and you did some crime.
You gave me 4. You should have just given me 3, sir. Then I would have had. You had 7.
A memory tamer and Sayo. I can't give you any less than 4.
Listen.
Exactly. Just walk away. Listen to the BS here.
I just want. Listen, I acknowledge the problems. I just want another tamer that does the same thing about locked, because I think the deck doesn't. I don't think the deck is as good with just Sayo as its main team.
You can run on me. Since you're running CS Diana stuff.
Sure, but like it obviously, it doesn't work with like Apollo Ace and stuff. So then you can't play a. Fucking hate you.
I'm so mad. That's the second walk off. All right, we gotta make Dan angry now.
You won't
good luck.
Angry to walk away. Exactly.
It makes
you
me
suck.
so
Your
mad.
basketball skills are ass. You can't get a girl. Am I grilling you enough yet?
Oh yeah, totally.
It makes me so mad that the whole Lunamon line is CS trait except the egg. That egg would have been so nice to be CS trait.
Damn, that is unfortunately bad for you. That's kind of dumb, to be honest.
It doesn't make any sense.
That does suck.
Okay.
Because what egg do you use that gives you effects?
You have to use Pete, the Wanyamon.
And does he do anything good? Is he just like a cost
he's pretty good, but getting the draw and trash one means that you could play Sayo, because Sayo works with all CS trait stuff. And so I think the deck would be a little smoother if you were able to utilize the draw trash engine alongside of her.
Gotcha.
Yep.
We're at 2 hours 11, so I'll just touch up on it briefly.
We still got more cards to talk about, right?
What more cards do you want hit?
Oh, I don't know. I was just assuming we have more stuff to talk about.
No, I think that's it. I was looking through like the topping list. I brought up Imperial because I hate Imperial with the passion of 1,000 suns.
Hold on. I got you. Hold on, because someone just sent a picture of cards that need to be looked at. Let's put it like that. The bingo card.
Okay.
Wait. Let me find it.
We are waiting.
Yeah, I've had the bingo card up in the background.
I got it. All right. So
okay.
Pairball Junk, The Last Guardian, Omni X, Omeka, Superior Mode, Arrested Mod Superior Mode. Do we think these?
I'm not giving that the time of day. Please move on.
I don't think so. Uko, the Searching Uko.
I'm not giving that the time of day. Please move on.
Shaman, Cross Heart, Cross 3 coming back. Cross Heart, Cross 4.
Bring it back. Bring back my Cross 4. No, it's not good.
That's a topic. I will leave that for Mike and Mike alone.
Rush Guilmon, which we talked about. Hexablow. I don't think it needs to be touched.
It's fine. It's
Sukuya
just decks that abuse it. Sukuya X is. I am perfectly fine with it. I said it earlier. I'm fine with what Sukuyamon does as a deck. I just hate that it gets free level 7s. That should not be allowed. Okay.
Yeah, Sukuyamon's fine. It's the 7s that are the problem for free.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yes. I agree. Yep. Purge, which we already talked about. Sai and Ko, what we talked about. Grab Crush, we talked about. Ko and Sai, we talked about. EX1 Metal Garurumon. Do you understand why this is being brought up?
I understand that there's some sort of like omni
that, but also the Sagittarius loop that you can do with it. So Sagittarius goes to Magna Guru swings, becomes lower, Sag effect again. You go to EX1, you gain a bunch of memory, you just keep doing it over and over.
That sounds like you need a lot of cards to pull that combo off, and you also need to be allowed to live and not have interaction.
But the Alter has version 2, where you go Sag, play Blitz Gray effect, go EX1, gain a bunch of memory, Evo, together, swing, Alter S springs back, Sag, and Blitz Gray. But
they don't have Rush.
Evo.
But they don't have Rush.
But you gain the one Digivolve and gain memory, I guess.
I guess.
You need to have multiple EX1 Metal Gurus in hand to do that, though. So, like, I don't think it's a problem yet. I could be proven wrong, but
let us know down in the comments below. Do you think this EX1 Melga loop thing is something that should be touched up now before it potentially becomes problematic, or is it just something that's like, oh yeah, that's cute, okay, moving on, so to say?
Volder Arm. Do we think we kind of talked about Volder Arm?
I'm fine with Volder Arm. As long as it's not being motherfucking abused.
Correct.
For free.
Gray X coming back. We think it can, but I don't think they will actually do it. What else we have on this list? Growl X we talked about. Medieval Gallimon. I want to say no. I think it's perfect. It's what we need in the game.
I will refrain from commenting on Medieval Gallimon at this current moment in time. No, we'll save that topic for another podcast. That's because that could be an entire topic of its own.
3 cost Koichi because people still hate Purple Hybrid.
I still hate Purple Hybrid, but Koichi's fine.
The deck is exactly where it should be. It is not doing busted things, and it is good enough to win, but it requires you to play the game. Like one of those decks that actually be a good pilot. Agreed. It's perfectly fine right now.
The last line of cards we have is Talamon, which we talked about. I think it needs to get hit. That's the one that
would be the Sakuya hit. Yep.
This one is random. I think someone's just mad because they got Machine Jamon to death, which is attacking the heavy. I think that card is perfectly fine. Like, why would you take that away from Machine Jamon? But okay. This one is an interesting one because
major salt.
Yeah, this is an interesting one because I think Kaguya needs to be thought about at least, which is Shushumon, the one that I think it's the on play. It's from the security on play. You grab a token on deletion. I don't know if Kaguya's at the point where like is like tier 1 and you need to be like talking about.
That's the entire
I can see why
reason.
Someone gets tight about that card though.
I can see it as well, but that's the entire reason that the deck works as well as it does. Because if it didn't have that, it is in the same exact boat as Central, which is the trash bin.
Right. Last 2 cards, one we talked about, which is Tropical Venom. And the other one, I'm very confused on why it's on here. I guess they don't like 7 Grade Demon Lords, which is Lucemon Chaos Mode.
Well, many people do not like. Many people do not like 7 Great Demon Lords.
They ain't touching that deck until EX10 comes out, and then after that is when they will think about it if it's broken. And I think anything else that could be talked about, I think there was something else that popped in my mind that's on this list, and I can't even think about it right now, so it must not be that important.
It probably isn't. Listen, I know y'all may hate 7 Great Demon Lords. I know some people have expressed frustration with 7 Great Demon Lords having effects when you remove them, but it's the same idea as what Royal Knights is doing, right? Royal Knights as a deck it was very clearly designed to say, here's King Drazel, and here's his army of Royal Knights. Play them. And yes, reduce the play cost. 7 Great Demon Lords, same thing. Here is the gate to the demon world, and we are going to unleash these 7 Great Demon Lords on you once we fulfill the conditions. Like, it is what it's. The deck was very clearly designed to do the thing, and it does the thing. Unfortunately, if you don't like the way the deck plays, like it's sorry, you know. There's nothing I can tell you outside of, I guess, try not to play against it at locals. I guess we all have decks we hate. That's me with Blue Green Imperial. I probably hate Blue Green Imperial the way that some of y'all hate 7 Great Demon Lords. It is what it is.
I know a card that needs to touch up. Of course, every ban list that comes around, we should always say this.
God, give it to me. Give it to me.
Ban HPD.
Don't know why we still have it.
If we have HPD, we can have Sayo and Ko at 1. I'm just saying. Or Ko and Sayo, the red one.
The red one, yes. He's got a point there, Chief. The card that I was going to talk about, because I said it at the beginning and somebody might be like, damn, he mentioned it, but he never talked about it. Scrambles. I just hate the idea of Scrambles, I'll be honest. I knew when they came out that they were going to be cracked. I think we talked about this at this point 8 months ago in Orlando with Mike in person. And at the time, oh gosh, I can't speak. Holy shit. Dan, Mike, and I threw around the concept of maybe trainings should be hit and Scrambles might really be an issue, ? And 8 months later, I still feel the same way. I'm generally whatever on trainings. I wouldn't mind a game state where we just go back to having memory boost, because in my opinion, memory boosts are the fairest card in the game. But I think it's clear that like there is a certain direction in the game, and trainings and scrambles feed into that. But scrambles are just so dumb. There's so much value for the cost of 2. And yeah, not every deck is playing it at 4. Obviously, they're not Sakuyamon. The card is a brick at times. But a card that costs 2 to say Digi for 3 less, and then place it in battle area. And then if your opponent has a Digimon and you don't, you play a Digimon, but you also get a card back to your deck. That sounds fantastic on paper. And it enables a comeback mechanic that the game should have. But when you look at the tamers that we're getting for Liberator, Shoto, what's her name? Yao and Arisa are the ones that have it right now. They say start of main, bottom deck the tamer. Bottom deck the tamer to play a Shoto or play another tamer from your hand. Then if you don't have a Digimon, you just play one of that archetype Digimon from the trash, right? So it's like a in archetype scrambles, so to say. Doesn't give you the free Digi Evolution, which I think is the most problematic part of the card. I think if the card was just something that you played that in this case gives you, like, let's say it plays a tamer, reducing the cost or something like that, I wouldn't even be like talking about it. But the plays that when we talk about what makes Digimon fair and nice, the idea that the memory gauges are memory gauge, the decks that are unfair manipulate the memory gauge, and scrambles feed into that for every deck. And technically it's supposed to, because every color has it, it's supposed to make it more balanced, but in my opinion, it doesn't. Something like Tyrannomon can't effectively use scrambles because it's inherently a multicolored deck. The same can be said for like Mastimon and a couple other decks. Because not everything in Mastimon is dual colored, but also they jogress. But then there's also just the fact that like some decks like Sakuyamon abuse it a hell of a lot easier, or some decks have in-archetype memory gaining that then make their scramble even more worthwhile. So if the intention is to make it fairer for everybody, those cards don't really feel like they make it fairer for everybody. Just because you play scramble, like you could play 2 scramble, I play scramble in Zafagamon, and it damn sure doesn't feel fair when I play against some decks, you know what I mean? I like Shoto, I like what these tamers do for the decks, and I would just rather like decks have access to these types of tamers. I acknowledge that scrambles aren't going to be hit, and I acknowledge they aren't going in. It's just one of my personal, like if there's a card outside of Davis and Ken that like I would be on my eternal wish list, it would be the scrambles. So that's my thoughts on it. I don't know if you guys have anything to say.
Same on scrambles. I've always hated them.
And that's without him being a purple hybrid player.
It's nice to have a comeback mechanic, but scrambles just do too much, I think.
They really do. They do a lot. They do so much heavy lifting for some decks where you're like, oh man, I'm good next turn. There's no way they can do anything. Scrambles exist.
Especially if they have like if they have a rookie that does an on play that lets you do something that's like crazy before the turn officially starts. That's what feels like really strong.
Yeah. So that's it. If you guys let me know down in the comments, I'm actually curious to hear. I know I have heard the training talk. So let me know how you feel about scrambles. Do you guys think that that's something that should be hit, or do you think scrambles are fine for where the game is at? Because everybody's got their thoughts. Anyways, we're basically at 2:23 here. So let's wrap it up. Call it a day. You can also let us know. I've asked you guys like 4 times, so I expect to see 4 different comments from everybody who is listening to me say go comment. Let us know what you want to see hit on the ban list. What is your ban list wish list, so to say? If you guys like this video, please do drop us a like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so that you know when future videos come out. Go check out our sister channel, Mainface TCG, where Mike and I are doing Gundam and Grand Archive content. And come back next week at the same bad time in the same bad place for more bad Digimon takes. Thank you guys for listening to this episode of DigiPod, the digital podcast. And until we talk to you guys next time.
Good takes from Dan.
Shut your mouth. Peace out.
See you guys.
Catch you on the next one.